he's afraid. He knows how far I came for him. Same as that elk. When they get afraid, they run deep into the Neon Crew podcast. I got him trapped. He just doesn't know it yet.
Is that the very beginning of The Revenant?
That's pretty much towards the end. It's like when things are about to wrap up.
Oh, so that's like an inner monologue.
It's him speaking with Donald Gleason.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man, I just... That's a great line, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, when is that?
I was hoping that the signifier would be how gravelly and fucked up his voice is.
Well, because he does a little talking at the very beginning, too, doesn't he?
He does some talking in the beginning, but he has a normal sounding voice.
Yeah.
And then after the bear attack, he gets his throat all chopped up.
It's the Malik effect.
Yeah.
Because that's where I think in Malik, anytime that there's like some out of conscious scenery going on with the inner dialogue,
yeah,
everyone's always whispering.
Yeah. And
but no,
like, where in the movie is this place?
Yeah, it's a good gravelly voice. I initially went to that, I just don't remember him speaking those lines to someone. So.
Right. Because the Revenant, which is a movie we're going to talk about, it's a fairly linear movie.
I get to do the first one.
You do. In which it feels like you could take any isolated scene, place it almost anywhere in the movie, and it would kind of make sense for the tone of what Iñárritu was going for. Like,
yes, tone, yes.
There's different versions of what we've seen multiple times in the story that if you were to just kind of like pick and choose different spots of the timeline in like an editing bay or something, it could probably work with like maybe a few readjustments to like the soundtrack and whatnot.
Yeah.
But we'll get into it. Welcome everybody to episode 105 of the Neon Crew podcast. My name is Kyle.
I'm Mac.
We're talking a lot of Leo today.
A lot of Leo.
A lot of Leo. I was thinking about this. Is this the first time we'll have discussed a Leonardo DiCaprio movie officially on the Neon Crew podcast?
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oh, damn, you're right. I did forget about that. Because I was thinking about all the, like, kind of classic Leo movies, like Wolf of Wall Street, Inception. Haven't seen The Beach. Not yet. That's on my list. I want to get Danny Boyle knocked out.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about it, and I was like, is the only one that we've officially talked about Don't Look Up with our first Oscar episode?
Oh, yeah. We never did Once Upon a Time, did we?
We have not done Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which, to my understanding, is your favorite Leonardo film. Is that wrong to say?
It's probably accurate.
Unless it's changed.
I'm running through the filmography real quick in my head.
Unless it's changed as of late.
No, it hasn't.
Okay.
But not to say I need more juice from one battle after another on the talks.
Gotcha.
I am in this weird area with it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's totally fair. But I've got a little bit of news.
Okay.
As regards to Leo, it relates to him in a way.
Okay.
But it also relates to something that we've been talking about throughout, I think, most of the course of this podcast.
Marvel.
No. Somehow it's not a Marvel-related piece of news, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I managed to scrape by without diving into Kevin Feige's psyche. No, Heat 2 is officially happening.
Is it really?
It's happening. The production moved from Warner Brothers to another studio. I forget which one.
Studio?
You
mean just the people that are paying for it to be shot on location?
Right, but it just confirms that the movie is moving forward.
Okay.
And Michael Mann's still directing. Right now, the rumors are a few familiar faces that we've talked about previously when we've brought up Heat 2, but also Leonardo DiCaprio is in talks to potentially be in Heat 2 alongside Adam Driver, Austin Butler, two names that were, floated around before, and Bradley Cooper. So those four names, I don't entirely know.
Driver doesn't fit in.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what role Driver would be.
Like I'm thinking like the Tom Sizemore.
Maybe, but
he doesn't.
He's too like tall and lanky, and Sizemore is like kind of a rounder boy.
Well, and Driver's got like a sense of humor.
Yeah,
like he doesn't. Butler, he plays Kilmer to full effect.
He would be the Chris Cirillis part.
Bradley Cooper's Pacino,
and I could see Leo being the Neil McNulty part. Macaulay McNulty,
De Niro's character.
De Niro's character.
Yes, yeah.
And it would make sense because I feel like as far as
yeah,
like a 1-to-1. Yeah. I think it would work out, but
because I was trying to think like, as long as they have him doing that, and they don't flip Cooper and DiCaprio,
right. But it's interesting that these 4 names have cropped up, and it does make you wonder. Like, I wonder how this would fit if they would have to like get rid of one of them, if like one of them decided to drop out. Also, you got to think about too, Leo joining any movie is going to make it expensive as hell with his rate of $20 million.
Whatever, dude. It's Michael Mann.
That's true. It is Michael Mann.
Produces gold.
And it seems like studios are willing to give Michael Mann the means to make whatever he wants now. He kind of has carte blanche when it comes to just whatever he wants to make now, because Ferrari, for all intents and purposes, was not a huge hit. Yet, it still was something that he wanted to do. He wanted to bring forth, Adam Driver being a part of it. And I don't know, even after that, him being able to make Heat 2, I think shows just how much power he has as a name still.
Yeah, it's Michael Mann.
Yeah. Big swinging dick energy from this old guy.
Hopefully. I get worried that we have like a Coppola effect.
I don't think it's going to be that dramatic, but you never know. You never know. Heat 2 could come out and it could totally face
Our boy made Ridley Scott made Gladiator 2.
Well, what's funny is there were recent comments from Mr. Scott, Mr. Sir Ridley Scott. He's a knighted individual, where he says that Hollywood is totally mediocre now and that he's watching his old movies to remember the good times. And I just find that hilarious because he must have recently watched Gladiator 2 and had that thought.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's not on them, though. Sometimes, like, I got to imagine that, people come in, and it depends on who you're working with, and what they're saying, what's going to drive in money, because you get all these figureheads that come in and say, like, I know what you got for your vision, but we need to have this, or we need to have that, or the kids aren't going to like this, or it's got to be rated that, And I feel... And I don't really know, but back in the day, I just envisioned some guy sitting up there smoking a cigarette and being like, fucking put their asses into seats and give me the big bucks, Yeah. Like that's, and it was, you do what you do. Like the 60s and 70s were a prime for it. And then he started drifting a little bit. And I don't know when it kicked on, but now that Netflix is out and you have Amazon and everyone's got ADHD, like it's hard to do some slow burns.
I think that's true. I also think it is interesting that Ridley Scott seems to have fallen into this habit of making movies that feel like they are just kind of in the middle, despite the fact that his name carries a lot of weight. He's like considered one of the most prolific directors of all time. So you would think that he'd be able to do a lot of what he would want to do with movies like that. But I don't know, maybe it's also this thing of like, and we've talked about before with a lot of his films that we've covered, is that maybe he's just kind of gotten complacent. Maybe there's like a little bit of element of laziness to it.
Yeah, I don't know if we know enough to speak on it. And I don't, like, I'm sitting there making assumptions on it.
Yes.
And you got an 80-year-old dude that's trying to make something that he thinks might be hip. So.
Right. And we're not going to talk about Ridley Scott as if he's like a complete piece of shit that's just totally lost the plot. Like, the guy's got a legacy.
Yeah. And my thing is I don't disagree with him on, like, it's not that, I mean, modern movies coming out. I was just talking to my brother about it.
Right.
Because he was really excited about One Battle After Another. And he's like, there hasn't been anything that's had juice with good acting and like humor, like a lot of different emotional elements mixed in with a good plot, right? Like,
yeah. And I feel like this year specifically has felt a little weaker in terms of.
Well, you say that, but like you got two movies that you've just recently watched that are like tops for you.
Yeah. For this year. But I don't know. Maybe it's just because like we're just now entering award season, so we're gonna get a little bit more of the like prestige entries now. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm more of like I feel like movies are starting to pick one lane. Yeah. Like this movie that we just recently watched, I feel has a very broad, broad themes over it. I get it's if you wanted to make an action thriller, they could have stayed in one lane. Right, but they had a couple of other elements construed in there that really bring out emotionality. And I think like the best movies that I've seen so far
have been more of these like elevated horror movies, you know,
Yeah.
and they pick their lanes, but it's certainly they're getting a little bit more sophisticated with some of the tension going on. So I don't know, but those old movies still hold up. I mean, we're talking about movies that were made in the 80s, which is now 40 years ago.
Right.
And it's still.
Yeah. And it's just funny to me that Ridley Scott is the one who made that comment when his last movie that came out.
Yeah, he had Napoleon too, right?
Yeah.
Like he's had some dog shit once. Whatever. You know, say la vie.
C'est la vie. Well, speaking of movies, new movies.
Boy.
Oh boy. I'm excited for you to introduce one of the films we'll be talking about this episode, One Battle After Another.
Yes. One Battle After Another. 2025. Paul Thomas Anderson coming back to the screen.
So soon. Right after we just talked about There Will Be Blood.
Yeah. What's the last one Licorice Pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So One Battle After Another, 2025, coming in at 2 hours, 41 minutes. Starring, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, written by Paul Thomas Anderson, and Thomas Pynchon.
Thomas Pynchon wrote the novel Vineland, which this movie is loosely based on.
Yeah, I meant to look that up as soon as I stayed for the credits, and I caught that, and I was going to do a little bit more digging on that, and I did not.
I did a little sniffing. Nothing super extensive.
Okay.
But a little bit.
So we have Leonardo DiCaprio starring as Bob Ferguson, Sean Penn as Colonel Stephen J. Lockjaw.
Great name.
Yes. Yeah, all-time villain name.
All time.
Tiana Taylor as Perfidia Beverly Hills. Regina Hall as Deandra. Benicio del Toro as Sensei Sergio St. Carlos. Wood Harris is Laredo. Alana Haim, Mae West. Haim, coming in, Mae West. And then
Miss Licorice Pizza herself.
Yes. And then Chase Infinity. No, I didn't realize that was her name. That's funny. Well, that's a hell of a stage name.
Do you want to know what first of all, that's not her stage name. That's her real name.
Really?
And do you want to know what her full name is? Chase Infinity Payne.
Chase Infinity Payne.
It's Payne, but that's still a pretty killer name.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know the revelation of that being her real name would throw a wrench in
the plan. That is throwing me off so much.
I'm sorry.
I went way too deep into like her parents. Anyway, so this is a movie opens up with we get the French 75 coming in, and it opens up with some people kind of gathering together, and they're putting on. You can see that there's like some detention camps, immigration camps, perhaps something going on, and that people are in peril. And you got some possibly ne'er-do-wells coming out of the woods, meeting up on the streets, talking about a plan, and this is what they're doing, and this is how they're going to strike. Bob gets introduced. Perfidia gets introduced. You're not really sure about the relationship. And next thing you know, I mean, all hell breaks loose in this camp. The plan's on. We get introduced to Colonel Lockjaw, at the time, Major Lockjaw. And, the characters, you can sense that there's going to be some intertwinement of this going here on out. And then we smash cut to Perfidia being pregnant. After some events unfold, all right, Perfidia is pregnant. Now she's got a daughter, and with Bob, and Perfidia gets into some trouble, and she's out of the scene, and it's kind of Lockjaw gets his introduced into the St. Nicholas Club?
The Christmas Adventurers Club.
Yes. Oh, God. Yeah, the Christmas Adventurers Club.
Hail St. Nick.
Oh, freaking wild. Yeah, and so Lockjaw is he's on the hunt for Willa. Bob's daughter is told to him as Charlene, just fearing or sensing or wanting to know exactly who Willa is. And I think that kicks off the exposition, and then it's just there on out. We kind of get Bob and Willa in their later years, and then it's go, go, go. So spoilers for One Battle After Another.
Spoilers for One Battle After Another. Check this movie out before you hear us talk about it, because I think it's worth watching, especially in theaters. Go out to see it if you can.
Yeah.
We want to tell the studios that these are the types of movies that we want them to make.
Yes.
So when this movie was coming out, before like the official release date, you got a lot of your press coverage, a lot of reviews coming out, and every single reviewer, I'm not joking when I say this, almost every single reviewer that I follow, whether it's on YouTube or Letterboxd or like just general social media that I come across, everybody was praising this movie. It was getting glowing reviews. I don't remember the last time a movie had gotten this much praise. People were throwing around the term like one of the best movies of the 21st century.
Yeah.
And I'm always weary when it comes to hyping up a film. I'm like, okay, is the expectation for this not going to meet the actual quality of what the movie is when I go see it?
It was a little Licorice Pizza effect.
Right. Licorice Pizza coming out, I mean, it wasn't getting as much praise, but it was certainly getting like that awards buzz and was like, you got to check this out if you can.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like,
right.
A pat on the back to me is a pat on the back. Whether someone says greatest movie of all time or like this movie kicks ass, you have to see it. To me, it just says, hey, either you spend money on it or you don't. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they were going, you got to go see this movie. And I was like, okay, well, I certainly am going to. I was going to before, but now I'm going to make it a priority. It's one of those things where like, all right, you've swayed me.
Yeah.
I'm going to go see this as soon as I
Piqued
can.
my curiosity.
Right. My curiosity is piqued, much like the thing in Sean Penn's pants at the beginning of this movie, which we can talk about. So I go into this movie hoping that it's not overhyped, hoping that this is a movie that, wasn't overconflated by the end result, and watched it in IMAX for the first time. Was just blown away on a purely technical level, storytelling level. Very much a movie in which I walked away really enjoying it the first time, and I thought to myself, I'm going to watch this again. I know I'm going to see this a second time. One, because I want to see it closer to when we record our episode, so that's fresher in my mind, but also the first time I saw it, I got a level of enjoyment from it that I don't want to say was surface level, but I knew there was more for me to dig into if I had seen it a second time.
Yep.
And so watch it again, everything just clicks for me. And while I don't know if I can call this one of the best movies of the 21st century, it is for sure my favorite movie of the year so far.
Nice.
Like, it is
You keep
undeniable.
tipping your hands like right up front.
Listen, I got to tip the hand sometimes because, the tip of the hand that feeds you, feeds the conversation.
Yeah.
That's how the saying goes,
Yeah.
right? I think I'm right.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, I highly enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed a lot of different aspects about this movie. It's exciting to watch a newly released film like this.
Yeah.
That, even though it's loosely based on the novel Vineland, it is pretty much a wholly original thing that came out, is kind of like an epic kind of American thriller, and hits all those right beats for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm curious about your thoughts, your experience, your impressions of this film.
Yeah. No, it's this thing's well written, it's well done, it hits modern times. It a little bit of like a Civil War element, kind of just within the universe in which we're living in. There's things going on, but it definitely touches on some of like what's happening in America today.
Absolutely.
It was engaging, enthralling, and I guess maybe just me connecting with some of the characters is maybe where I struggled with a little bit, but also,
Yeah.
Like watching the first time I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I knew I really enjoyed it. And it kicked ass, and I was like, I got to see that again. This is kind of entering into that, like, I got to see it again realm. I saw it.
That's where I was when I first watched it.
I saw it. It was a week ago, I believe, on a Thursday night, and late night showing. Because I had to pick up Preston, and I don't like doing the movie stuff when I got him up here, So I went and saw it, and I was engaged the whole time. And it's not necessarily like a movie that's challenging. I would say it's not a movie that's challenging beliefs, right? It's not one it's spiritual or surreal in any sense. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It reminds me of like a Western, kind of like The Searchers or just we're on the run, and then you got this like unlikely hero with Bob.
Yeah.
And kind of DiCaprio's demeanor in this whole thing, because, when you put his name on something, you're expecting to get a certain DiCaprio, right? And in Inception, it was, well-groomed, kind of cut back, got a couple skeletons in the closet. I mean, this was Big Lebowski DiCaprio.
Yes.
Which you've never seen before.
Big Lebowski with like a dash of Rick Dalton.
Yes.
I would say.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Right?
Because I love and it sounds like we're kind of moving into a little bit of the performances of this movie, especially with Leo. I feel like a lot of later period Leo roles have just sort of been a slight transformation of I've gone from like main character kind of like hero status or like at least someone that you're rooting for to somebody who is just inherently interesting in their demeanor. So like his role in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, maybe one of my favorite roles of his, even though I've only seen that movie one time, is still memorable. I know it's a sin. It's a sin and I should be crucified. Depicted by Mel Gibson, of course.
Yes.
But I love his character in that movie because he has such an emotional cadence to him, even though most of the movie is like kind of just a chill hang. Like, he's able to dial into the tone of it while still being able to stand out. Yes. And I think it's a similar thing with this movie in that you're watching him throughout this film and you're just expecting him to do like the typical, Revenant Leo shit where he comes in and he saves the day.
That's what I think that's a little bit, that's why I'd like to see it again, because having had a first viewing with understanding of what I'm going to get, I think would definitely help me out going into it, because the whole time there's kind of like, there's a light switch that you're waiting for, right?
And I will give you like a piece of advice on your second viewing of this movie that we can get into, but this movie, you're just kind of like waiting for the period of like, all right, when is the Leo thing gonna happen? And then you get to the end of this movie and you're like, oh wait, the Leo thing has been happening this whole time.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why
that presence of his character is the point of what he's doing.
If you walk into this going, the light switch is already on, you'll enjoy it that much more.
That's what I was going to tell you.
If it takes a second for you to kind of get into I'm accepting of this, or this is what's going on, it's a little bit more of a I guess it's where I sit at with the movie is like I'm kind of on the edge of my seat waiting for it, and then if you're always just sitting there waiting for it and it never happens, it's almost like a itch that isn't scratched. But like to me, it probably like halfway through the second act, like when he meets Benicio, when he meets Sensei, that's when I was like, this is what it is. Yeah. It was after the phone call on the phone where he couldn't remember the fucking password. This is Bob Ferguson. You called me. And, like once it got to that point, I was like, all right, so we're going to be Lebowski the whole time. And I was like, I mean, Big Lebowski is one of my top 5 films. So
there's a lot going on with like the kind of subtext of his character and like how it relates to like genre movies and like thrillers of the 70s and 80s and different cues that the movie hits that kind of signify that. But as a character, you're just kind of there wondering, like, when is he going to do something that actually impacts the story? And you realize that, not to like completely jump the gun on like the end of the film, and we did say spoilers, but you realize that once you get to that point when he walks up to his daughter and she's on the side of the road and they have that interaction, you realize that is the whole focal point of him being there. That is like the whole reason for his character doing what he's doing, is to get to that point where him being there for his daughter is the best thing that he does throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, it's some of the movies where there's like a hostage situation or there's I got to find this person, it gets lost in the sense of I'm going to be a hero the whole time, right? Like Taken, not to say however that movie ends or anything like that, but like
I will take Taken.
Yeah, like you discuss that film and it's Liam Neeson like kicking ass the whole time trying to find his daughter, right? And like these movies, and in this one, it's literally him just getting by as he's a pothead and a drunk, owning up to it. struggling, and it's just because he loves his daughter. I mean, there's no other sense around it. There wasn't anything put in here. He knew the peril of what could happen from the beginning of the film, being part of the French 75 and where it could lead to, and that's why that it's a really satisfying ending, especially because it and I love how it ends on its own terms. Right?
It does, yeah.
It's not like this huge shootout. It's not him like finally getting it. It
ends in a place that makes sense while still feels like a semblance of that kind of satisfying arc we were looking for.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't like is her screaming out, the revolution will not be televised, or like I didn't.
The kind of code phrase.
Yeah, like you need to tell me that you're not bad. Like I was like, all right. There's that. Anyways.
I think there's a justification there, but I get what you mean.
There's a couple things that occurred that I was like, this feels like we're rushing a couple scenes to get her sped up, when in real time there's not enough time and that's going elapsing between.
Yeah. I want to bring it back to the kind of thriller aspect of this movie.
Yeah.
And how like Paul Thomas Anderson is a filmmaker, a writer, director who you see his name on a movie, you're not going to get a conventional type of film that you would see Gladiator in a theater 2. That's a blockbuster. Right.
Yeah.
Gladiator 2, or like I liked your example of Taken.
Yes.
Where that is a movie in which you kind of have to like subvert your expectations of reality in order to get behind the premise of that film.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how much fucking bureaucracy of the French government that Liam Neeson has to cut through in order to get his daughter. Don't worry about that shit. You don't have to concern yourself with that. He's just got a gun and he's jumping on boats and shooting people.
Yep.
Whereas this movie, you really get a good sense, and I think that this is where Paul Thomas Anderson's strength lies in this specific film, is that you get such a groundedness of the realities of this movie how it reflects our own real world. And there, you brought up Civil War and how I feel like this movie parallels so much of our reality more than Civil War. And as much as I enjoy that film, I think that acts as a kind of interesting boundary that this movie sets up that the characters have to navigate. It's not like you said, in Taken, Liam Neeson can just grab a gun and save his daughter. In this movie, Leo has to go through all the different things that we as real human beings might have to come up against in a similar situation, right? Obviously, this is a heightened narrative, and it's stylistic in its own way, and it's got its own things going for it. That being said, I think that the kind of realistic boundaries that PTA has set on this film for Leo to navigate makes it special.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not. I'm more so comparing it to Civil War in the sense of it being a little bit more heightened with the status of America.
Yeah, and
like this is kind of
military and how that works.
That's like Civil War is like,
Right. Civil War is more outright sci-fi, I guess, for lack of a better term, whereas this just kind of, it feels like...
Yeah, I guess science fiction works.
It feels like a hop, skip, and a jump away from something that could actually happen.
Yeah, this is... And that's what we talked about. This is way more grounded.
Yeah.
And there's, like you said, there's boundaries in which you're operating in that are not nonsensical. Mm-hmm. Like, if you were to just kind of think of, like, what it would take... now if you were living in some, wherever, right, and you had some anarchist group going on like this, there would be these things put in place. Now, to the comedic effect it's happening at, it's done for movie, but it's grounded and it's based on like events or things that you would actually expect to happen. I think there's a couple things here and there where it's like, but nothing that was way out of the ordinary.
Yeah, and I think, current events, I feel like, only heighten movies like this when you've got it touching on, aspects of immigration and like military occupancy in American cities and like the sort of idea that it's not entirely in good faith that there's like a military presence here. There's like some more nefarious motivations going on and like selfishness when it comes to people in power. The Christmas Adventurers Club.
Yeah.
It's not too out there to think that there's probably people out there who think and act like this.
Well, it's like loose conspiracies that you're like, yeah, okay. You know, like I could see that if a news article came out tomorrow highlighting some of these things that were happening or like events that happened in this movie in a news article, I'd be like, yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. If I read the news tomorrow and found out like Stephen Miller is part of the Easter Bunny White Boy Club, it's like, okay, yeah, I can see that.
Okay, that does. Yeah, I get that 100%.
Right.
You know, and yeah, so I'm not no knock on that, and that's where I think this movie it touches on some of the modern times, right, and that's why it makes it way more relatable, you know. And I don't think they don't drift too far into one avenue either. Like obviously, you know what's happening is bad. You have this the French 75, who's part of this group that's trying to overseas the siege, you know, and I'm losing my train of thought here on where I was going with this.
No, there's the movie has a great job of like doing this balancing act of like showing you these different parts, and you know the runtime I think helps to cover a lot of that stuff too.
Oh yeah,
where you've got the Bob and Sensei storyline that evolves into Bob further trying to save his daughter, the perspective from his daughter, and like Sean Penn kind of intercrossing there with like his villainous role, but then you've also got like the whole like kind of first half of the first act where it's like 16 years previous. There you're seeing like the actions of the revolutionaries, but also setting up Perfidia Beverly Hills and establishing her character and how her relation to the others in the story really like kind of kicks everything off. And it does such a great job of like depicting these events in a way that feels so natural and exciting. Yeah. It doesn't feel contrived at any point to me. Like
no, there's never like a heat sequence going on or anything like that. Yeah. It's never like, how do these guys, and then they show them operating the gun. So, that there's a little bit of a background on how to operate and everything that occurs, or that's happening, you'd expect. I mean, it's kind of, there's a little bit of, a rat chase going on. And, if you're living in a big city like that, you're not like, oh, this guy's going to find him tomorrow, and all the avenues that they had set up for them to capture him were put in place. But there's also safeguards for the French 75 to, get away from that. So, no, I mean, they do a great job. And I really liked at the beginning, too. And this is where I'm like conflicted because you have these conflicted human beings, right? So, you have this, not love story, but father-daughter relationship going on, and it's almost like is it not a bastard child? And you have Perfidia who's doing all this stuff, and she's an adrenaline junkie that struggles with addiction, and then she
kind of using the revolution as like a source of thrill seeking.
Well, and that's where I really they that's what I'm saying. They don't play it one way. I mean, there's a bank robbery going on after you've seen them taking out detention camps. And then they're like, well, we got to rob these banks to get money to help fund the revolution, and it's, all right, are we doing this for the money? Or are we doing this as a heist? Right. Like it starts, there's some moral turpitude going on in here of like, what are we really standing for? And you can see that, Leo, at the very beginning of this thing, starts drifting into, I'm a dad now, and Perfidia just can't
There's a level of responsibility that I have to adhere to, and Perfidia doesn't want to feel tied down. She, is pure. She feels like she purely exists for the sake of the revolution, but
that's her identity.
We can see through the movie that that's not entirely where her intentions are.
She just doesn't know how. She doesn't know how to be a human being,
a functional member of society.
Yeah, there's like she's like, I got a recall in my body right now, and I have to take it into service, and I can't.
Well, that's why I enjoy the presence of Regina Hall's character.
Yes,
because it really feels like she's the perfect foil to that, in that her allegiance lies so heavily with the revolution, but she goes about it in a way that feels a lot more responsible, paternal, a lot more like safeguarding when it comes to the things that she's doing, whereas Perfidia Beverly Hills feels like she wants to pretend she's in an action movie or like an espionage film where she's like, yeah, I'm a real revolutionary, I'm changing shit up, motherfucker. But like there's a chaotic element to it that is really irresponsible.
It garners a question, what are you doing this for?
Right.
Is it for you, or
are you helping the cause, or are you actually hurting it in the long run? Which, kind of question gets answered in the movie in a way. Kind kind of screws them over a little bit.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, the nun says it best. You know, even after she's gone, she still finds a way to fuck us or whatever she says.
Oh, I remember the line kind of because it stuck out to me.
Yeah.
Perfidia Beverly Hills is a problem that keeps on giving.
Yep.
And I love the way that nun actress delivers
she's high
it.
as shit saying it.
Well,
Smoking.
her pupils were very dilated. I'll tell you that. Them nuns be smoking the good Lord's weed. So there's a lot of different elements we can talk about this movie. Sean Penn,
Great.
I think maybe the standout performance to me.
You
Disagree?
Well, he was fantastic throughout.
Yes.
Like that's where it gets into, and the only reason because I'm like, all right, if you have 2 10 out of 10s, I have to take almost the one that's on screen for 50 minutes versus the one that's on screen for 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. My standout guy is Benicio. I fucking loved. As soon as he gets introduced and they meet up, Bob, we don't have time. We have to go. Bob, come on, Bob. You know, I was like, I think I love Benicio. Like, I think like I'm solely on his character. I want him to have more time. Like, he was the coolest guy on the streets.
Can I ask the question?
What?
And this is something I thought about leading up to this discussion.
Okay.
Is Bob and Sensei's dynamic in this movie one of the more reflective dynamics between you and me? Because I feel like Bob has a little bit of Kyle energy in that, like, there's like this desire to be chill, this desire to want to be able to like be laid back, but like is a little too neurotic for his own good, is a little too like kind of paranoid.
Yeah.
And then there's Sensei, who is, I think, a good reflection of you, who is like more laid back, kind of like, all right, I know the steps I need to take. I'm not going to freak out about this, and we're just going to get through it as best we can. We're going to have a good time.
I think I would agree. I definitely I can get behind that. I get Bob energy, but I think that's like on. So I can totally relate to Bob when he's by himself, right?
Yeah.
And then when Benicio came on screen, and I think it's just I can see where you're going with it too, because like a lot of people come up and they always say like, dude, you're always so calm. You're always like when everything's like when the guns are going off, you're chill, you know? And yeah, so I can relate to both, but yeah, that's a great comparison, and I think. Yeah, because I don't think I'm
not as like paranoid and like neurotic as Bob is, but there is that kind of desire
squirrely
to just,
energy, and yeah,
I just kind of want to lay low. I want to chill. I want to be able to like stay in my house and not do anything. But then like if something bothers me, I get really worked up about it. Like it never ends. It's one battle after another.
Battle after another.
But I was watching the movie the second time, going like, is this me and Mac right now, like us in the car?
If we were, oh my god, fucking, I'm a drunk, I'm an alcoholic, I smoke weed too much, I know it, I'm owning up to it.
Right, and that's where the main I think line gets drawn.
But that would be, dude, if we were going and I'm like, you have to get out of the car, Bob, Kyle, you got to jump, Kyle, you got to go,
right,
you got to go, Kyle, you got to go. All right, you're not going, sure.
And it would be my luck that I would just like, maybe not like an alcoholic drink, but like I have a can of Dr. Pepper. I take a sip of it right in front of a cop car, not even thinking. It's like, oh god, now they think we have alcohol.
Even like he's like, all right, he crushes it. Put this in your backpack. Put this in your backpack.
Yeah,
you know, like, oh, dude, Benicio's so good in this thing.
He's great. He's great. He never feels like he is unrealistic in his depiction of the character, but it stands out in a way that's fun. It's humorous. It's got a good energy to it that I think this movie needs.
Oh,
because there's so many characters in this film that are just not chill. Like Leo's not chill. After a certain point, Chase Infinity isn't chill. Sean Penn is never chill in this movie. Like he is always dialed
unhinged.
Up. The way he carries himself, quite literally. Benicio's character is that kind of element that you need, in that like it's just kind of a guy helping his buddy out, and he's doing the best that he can.
Boy, and he finds out the best part is he goes, "Man, a real friend 75. Can't believe that."
Yeah, like, let's take a selfie.
Yeah, like, oh my god, like that's why I'm busting you out of this hospital. That's why I'm getting you out of this jam. This is why, you know, like it's just, and there's a wholesomeness to it, you know, which I really appreciated. It wasn't like, oh, I trained your daughter. There's just like, hey, You're helping. I fight for the cause. You fight for the cause. You've done so much more than me. Like, I respect you, man. Come on, hop in.
Yeah, there's just like this immediate recognition between the both of them.
Game recognizes game.
Where it's like, yeah, we can just help each other out, and that we don't have to say anymore.
I don't know if Bob was. I think it's like more finding a washed up quarterback and be like, dude, you were my idol. Like, come on, like, hey, I'm gonna get you out of here.
Yeah,
just like whatever. Like, hey, you still, you still might do stupid things and go off and like this won't mean shit to you, but like I owe it to you. You've shaped my life.
Hey, come on, man, you're the champ.
Yeah,
where's that guy that I know?
Yeah, like where
is he in there?
That's why I just love like Benicio so much in this thing because it's everything he's doing. It's like he's putting out 12 fires as it's going on.
Right. He's got his own stuff to manage because like you get the scenes of like him going through the apartment building and like gathering all the immigrants there to like smuggle them to the church, and that has to be its own fucking pain in the ass to organize.
He's just walking around. It's like, hey, I told you no tablet after 8:00.
One of my favorite things in movies is when you get characters in a situation in which throughout the entire film they can never change their clothes. Like, they just have to stay in the same outfit the entire time. This is a very great movie for that. Because you've got Willa in her outfit the whole time. Yeah. You've got Leo in his, like, iconic kind of, like, flannel bathrobe that he's got going on with, like, the fucking hat and whatnot. And you've got Benicio in his karate gi the entire time. Up to the point in which the last scene we see him in is him doing the like, roadside test when he's pulled over. Yeah. And he's got that iconic line where they ask him, how much have you had to drink? A few small beers.
Yeah, a few small beers.
His last line he says in the movie, one of the most standout iconic lines, greatly delivered by Benicio del Toro.
So what time is it? What time is it? Or what does he say? What is the time?
It's 8:15.
Yeah, and then he goes, it's 8:15. Just like, because as an audience member too, you're like, all right, is it that sophisticated or is it simply just has to state the time?
Well, it's funny because like the first time I saw the movie, when he said it's 8:15, I thought to myself, oh, Benicio knows the code.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
So when he says it, I was like, oh, he just has to say what time it is. Like say that, and then he goes, that's what you got, you and your fucking irony, you and your stupid just going off on the guy.
Well, and that's very emblematic of like the kind of thing that I think has been consistent throughout Leo's career, is that I think he's very good, and a lot of movies weaponize this too, of depicting someone who is like slowly getting irritated to the point where they're screaming at the other person.
Oh yeah.
Like just completely fuse is lit, it's on its way, and then it's just like ramping up further and further the more Leo gets going.
Well,
like it's one of those where like they're not getting mad at each other. He's getting mad the more he's talking about it and like trying to get through it.
Yeah, like it's so one of the things I really appreciated about this thing, and because like everyone, oh, you're woke, you're not woke, whatever it fucking is, right? Like I related to him so much in the regard of like, you can be trying to catch up to the times, still behind, and still understand and have sympathy, respect for all the stuff going on while still being yourself, right? Like, so like I'm seeing this, I was like, this is a guy that's out of touch. It's kind of he's a little severed from society, right? And so you get it with the is it a they, them, he, she?
I'm just trying to be polite, honey.
Yeah, and like I really believe that it's not out of any I'm making a joke about this,
right? He's not taking it and making it into something that he would make fun of.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like so you have like a lot of older people that if they're like that, and you're just trying to catch up and be like, I'm being respectful about it, right? Because then the very next scene he's telling the guy, he's like, whatever you fucking do to her, I will do it 10 times worse to you.
What's up, homie? How you doing?
Yeah.
You just driving up like that in your red car?
Yeah, in your red car. And then the other parts are the password. Obviously being an older male, like you didn't have to have all that stuff going on. It was always like sign in, and now it's like, what did I write down? What did I write down? How did I do it? And then you have the telemarketer aspect where it's always getting phone calls, right? Or I have to deal with customer service and someone like I have to explain what my situation is. Why don't you understand what I'm saying? Like there's just these really small quips and things that happen in this film that relate so much to an older audience being a little disconnected but trying to catch up.
Right. Like people kind of caught in that in-between space of like, all right, I have like pretty liberal sensibilities. I know what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
I have my certain set of values. But if this guy frustrates me enough, I'm going to ask him, are you fucking retarded?
Yeah, like
it's just going to slip out of me sometime.
Yeah, that's, it's stuff like that really, like, that's where I really love about the writing of this thing is that
it's realistic.
Yeah, and like you said, it's grounded and it's somewhat of an alternate universe, right? But in the same sense, there are all these semblances of things that are happening today or things that you feel and see that just really elevate it.
Sean Penn.
Yeah, he's good.
We got to talk about Sean Penn.
I like Sean Penn. I thought, quirkier than shit.
Because he's an actor who is very, like, he can be very feast or famine for me. Like, he's someone who, if you watch him in a movie, you're either going to get, like, a great performance or one that's, like, way over the moon.
He is,
like, I'm thinking I Am Sam type of shit, right?
Yeah, well, do Thin Red Line or do, like, what is it, 21 millimeters or something like that. He is a guy to me where it almost strikes me like a Defoe, except Defoe's kind of like I know that I can make fun of myself.
I think
Sean Penn,
Defoe is like locked in his range. Yeah,
where he's like
aware.
I'm gonna do The Lighthouse. I'm gonna kick ass in The Lighthouse. I really like how The Lighthouse is written, and there's gonna be some range and some theatrics in here. It's gonna bring me more like a stage play. But I also
like
know
that I can be like a wacky seaman. Who can like yell at Robert Pattinson,
and I'm gonna get made fun of it, and I'm completely cool with it because I'm doing what I love to do. Right? Where
Sean Penn is like, I want people to kind of take me seriously.
Yeah. You will respect me.
Well, I'm still going to be like loud and bombastic about it.
Yeah, like and so I thought he did a great job in this. This to me definitely felt like out of character for him or
for sure.
against type,
Yeah.
Where he's in this like thriller film and he's playing this like way over the top colonel.
But I think it does a good job of like weaponizing that thing that he likes to do, which is like going whole hog 100% into a role, giving like his full bussy into the performance.
Yes.
And then sometimes it works, like this movie, and then sometimes it doesn't, like I Am Sam. This movie, I think, weaponizes it in a way that's like very fun, but also kind of scary. Because like you have scenes of him being like totally pathetic and like a loser.
Well, I think the way that PTA, it felt like this was written was poking fun at a lot of the bureaucracy and a lot of these figures that have some authoritative sense about them, right?
It's showing you how much of a clown these people who want to be fascists can be.
Yes. Like you have, the Christmas Adventurers Club. Like I feel like that is totally like whatever. What can we make the silliest thing possible?
Right. How can we make this like the dumbest fucking shit so that when people see this, they don't feel like it's an oppressive thing. It's something to make fun of.
Right. Like that's where Penn's character comes in, where it's this like it's a scary figure, but he's gonna remember the warranty on his jet that he didn't want to pay off, and that's why he went to collections, right?
Yeah.
Like, or I'm gonna sit here and let the perfidia take advantage of me because like this is how I get off now.
Yeah, I like that the depictions of the villains in this movie, and there's more than one. Sean Penn's like the main guy, but there's a whole array of them. I like how the depictions of the villains of this movie are just like pathetic white dudes who like to pretend they have power. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not, I wouldn't say pretend. I mean, you have the revolution going on. It's more of like,
they do.
You see, it reminds me of like in high school where you'd have the kind of the group, right? That would the socialites that would just make fun of everyone, and then it's like you have like your other group that's smart, nerdy, can definitely look at them and be like, hey man, like screw you guys, and be like, I saw your Facebook post or whatever it may be, right? Like really hone into like the nitty gritty and that emotional effect that you guys are just sitting here on surface level acting like you have the world by its balls, but deep down underneath you're conflicted, right?
Yeah, there's like an insecurity there that you just can't get over.
Yeah, and that's why you're at this point of what you're doing, and the writing really felt like we're going to poke fun at that.
Yeah, it was not afraid to like show Sean Penn in those like scenes of humiliation, kind of like, when he's groveling or like he's very desperate and like just watching Perfidia from a distance, whacking it.
Yeah, I was going to say, so he's got this really weird walk to him. Like he's got something shoved up his ass.
Maybe one of the weirdest walks in a movie ever that makes sense for the character he's playing.
Well, yeah, but I'm like, that's why I also want to rewatch it. I'm like, I don't know if they're poking fun. Like, I think she took that gun and, you know.
They went a little too far up there.
Yeah. And I was like, I wonder if he has it because, like, something happened to his ass and that's why he's kind of walking like that. Like, I was like, I don't know if, like, he's, like, leaning into, like, this is how a hard ass walks or if, like, that's why I want to see how he was walking before and after of like very, very tongue-in-cheek joke, you know?
Yeah.
Very subtle. So, but no, he would like, dude, his character, while a little over the top, totally believable.
And he's not afraid to get like nasty and scary in a way that's like not necessarily intimidating, but just scary as in like, if I were in a room with this dude, like, I don't know if I'd be safe.
Like the bearings, like he has the presence that the bearings are all there, but they're really not.
Yeah.
And he's very emotionally depleted, right? Like it doesn't take much to set him off.
Yeah.
And as much as he sits there and acts like I have everything under control, like she does in the interview,
there's a thinner skin to him than he would like to, you know, put off into the world.
Yes, and it catches up to him.
I'm not gay if that's what you're asking. Why is your shirt so tight? I'm not gay. I'm not a homosexual.
Yeah, like just having to fucking just.
It is weird how Sean Penn is. How old is he? He's like 65, right? He's getting up there.
Older than that.
He's 65 years old.
Wow. I would have guessed in the 70s.
Is it weird how often I think of how kind of shredded he is in the movie? Like he's kind of ripped, right?
Oh, when he was walking out, there's a scene as soon as he gets promoted to kind of colonel, and he's walking out, and he's got the duffel bag and the gun.
Just the arm
and he's
veins.
like, he's just sitting there walking. I was like, dude, what's Sean Penn doing?
The second time I watched it, I was like, did they put like arm prosthetics on him to make him look more ripped than he normally? Because I don't remember Sean Penn being like a beefcake or anything.
Well, and I think that's where it plays into the humor that's going on with, you know, the times now where everyone's got an Instagram and everyone's putting out, this is how you get ripped and shredded, and it's the alpha male stuff. And like,
yeah, he does kind of have like an Andrew Tate vibe a little bit.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was a lot of it was like tongue in cheek, and we're developing this character based on a lot of what we're seeing with these, you know, quote unquote alpha males nowadays. And, you know, I think there's a deeper mockery going on than what the film lays out.
Oh, absolutely. Like when you've got one of the villains of this movie like show up in a Patagonia coat, that just tells me all you need to know.
Mrs. Jackson's banana pancakes. No, I'm gonna have to hold off. But hey, put me on a rain check. I'll get him next time.
It's masterful how they depict the villains in this movie.
Oh, they go to the house that they go to, and then, you know, it's like it's set up as like a 1970s colonial house, you know,
it's
and
like a secret tunnel. He's got to do the secret knock, which is, you know, I think what, Jingle Bells, or is it Deck the Halls?
It might be. I didn't like. That's why.
Megan said it's Jingle Bells.
Yeah, I didn't. That's another one where I'd like to go in there because the Christmas Adventures. I'm not gonna lie to you. When the guy said it the first time, I was like, oh, this is a great mockery of this, right?
Yeah.
And so when he's going there and showing up, I'm like, all right, is this the guy that Sean Penn's replacing? Is this, you know, like that character when he gets introduced, you don't really know what his intentions are, right? Or who he is.
Yeah.
And so while he's going and doing all this stuff, I wasn't really putting all of it together.
And it's a great way that PTA shoots this and like frames it, because you're just wondering like, all right, where is this going in relation to everything else?
Yeah, it's a new character introduced, and you know, they've talked about there's certain things they've highlighted and discussed, and you know that the background of Sean Penn's in question, right? So this guy getting introduced doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be a hitman. Right, he could be the president. He could be the guy like running the whole show, and just that's where they meet. Like it's, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, you're good. I just, you know, you've got villains throughout this movie who are just like either pathetic or stupid or like displayed in this way that we can recognize that there's like a level of insecurity there.
Oh yeah,
one way or another. I do enjoy how the end of this movie, you do get actual scary bad guys. Like what does Sean Penn call them? The 1776, the guys in which they
when
drop Willa off to, you know, have them dispose of her.
1776 is that bring her there.
Yeah. And like they bring her to them and they're just like guys working on tools and shit outside of this like shack by the river. And they're just like methodically like going through stuff as if like they're about to buy groceries.
I will say a certain show has guys that pop up that are like these guys that you instantly know are not good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like that's, and it, all right, what's he say? All right, wagon stealer. Like that guy just walks away and that's just, it's just a subtle like.
He just calls him Red because he's Native American.
Well, the first one he says is he said wagon stealer or wagon something like that. Like
I think like wagon jockey or something. We don't need to get into the specifics. But the derogatory term.
Well, it was like one of those things where he says it, and I was like, oh wow, that's a shot. And I was like, yeah, I know that these guys aren't good, and I'm like, I wonder how much this guy's gonna take of that.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, and spoiler alert, he does not take it anymore.
That would probably,
he goes and kills them all.
Would talk about Ex Machina, right?
Yeah,
that'd probably be like the only, like for me, like the only thing in this film that felt a little Ex Machina.
I think it. Yeah, I mean they do frame it in a way that it makes sense because like when he first picks her up, he's like, I don't do kids, man. That's not my thing. And then Sean Penn kind of like bludgeons his way through the conversation and is like, well, drop him off to these people. And then like he sees what's about to go down and is like, I can't. I have a little too much of a conscience in order to let this happen.
And they egged it on. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like but like when you talk about a movie that's got espionage, spy thriller, trying to, catch people and like to have that be the only one that you're like,
right.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And even when I go like, it's more believable than it's not believable.
Let's talk about the final chase scene. Probably my favorite scene in the whole movie, especially watching it in IMAX.
Oh, that was yours?
I would say so. Just like the pure thrilling nature of it, but how simple it is so effective, especially when you watch this in a theater. And I'm telling you guys, if you have the chance to go see this, go watch it. Because that scene specifically in IMAX made me feel the way that I wanted to feel when I saw F1 in IMAX. Because I'm watching F1 and I'm like, I want this to make me feel like I'm just kind of like gliding on the road. I'm like kind of outside my own body in this sequence that's making me feel, the way you feel when you go down the hill of a road and like it's a little too steep and you kind of like go outside yourself for a second. That's how I felt during that final scene.
Yeah, there's a couple, and you're watching it guessing what's going to happen, right? And so there's that element of you're kind of you're getting a little lost in the moment, right? It's very, I mean, it's
mesmerizing.
It is. I mean, you're going down the hillside, right? And it's, in any other spy movie or I shouldn't say spy, but, like thriller, there's a car chase or bumping bumpers. You've got to come up with this elaborate way. And all of a sudden you just kind of get lulled into the sleep of like, what's the next move? What's the next steps? Where are we going? How close is the car? Right? Like, and you're just going up and down these hills. So you're saying like, I'm out of place. I was almost in the car with them as it's happening, just kind of being like, all right, what am I gonna do?
Yeah,
and you're it's just scenery as you're going up and down and through, and then it will kind of bump out where you can see how far away everyone is, and
it made me think of like how PTA is using the environment to its fullest advantage, not just like visually, but also like on a storytelling level.
Well, it's where she gets
the idea. I'm going to stop, and it's going to be a blind spot for him. He's going to fucking run into the car, and that's my moment.
They do a really good job, too, of setting up that thought process and, like, almost not necessarily foreshadowing, but making it believable because he puts the camera in front of these cars, and as soon as you go up and you start going down, you can see that at the top or over these hills, like, you wouldn't be able to see it, So definitely like makes it believable on what she's doing is going to catch that person off guard, right? Like, cause there's other time, like you could come up with, especially like you're out in the middle of nowhere. There's just hills. It's barren land. There's nowhere for you to go. Right.
Yeah.
Like all right. How do you get out of this situation? And he frames it in such a way that like, when you get to that point, when she stops, you're like, oh yeah, like this is about to happen, Yeah, no, I did like it. That not necessarily my favorite scene, but definitely like it makes the ending rich with what's going on.
Absolutely.
I
think it's a perfect coalescing of just the idea that all Leo's character needs to do is to be there for her. And the performances in that scene, I think, really work for me. And when she like finally kind of like lets her guard down and is able to like, you know, re-embrace with her father.
Yeah, that's where I'm, you know.
Wasn't as connective with you?
No, I didn't like it. Like I get that I've been through some shit, and like, you know, you're posing it from this like paternal sense of like, you know, the bond is like almost severed, right? It's got to get reattached, and how do we do that? And it's, you know, for me, it's like, okay, have like a little moment of disbelief, and then let's get into it, right? Because he is there. Like, it doesn't need to be. It felt a little bit over the top,
yeah,
right? And so what I mentioned earlier is that some of the timing of this stuff is. She gets saved by Regina Hall, and Leo's on the chase, and the events of which are happening, because all this happens within a couple days, right? She's out there, she's firing guns, she's going through, she's doing the kickboxing. It's speeding up her connection into the revolution a little bit more than what was believable for me.
Sure,
I can what see you that. Have to do as. There's no other thing that you can do, right?
Yeah,
like
it may be like one of the only ways in which, and yes. I don't know if there is another way to show her capability in that last moment when she is able to shoot the guy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. My point being is like, yes. You're gonna fire a gun for 12 hours. You're not a marksman, and like you don't know how to fight. Like that was the only thing that bugged me, and I didn't.
Sure, but I do appreciate that, like, you know, it's not like she like headshots him right away. It does take a couple of them to take him down.
The point is it doesn't line up with the timing, and it's we have to speed up her initiation into the revolution and this belief so that when she does get to Leo at this point, there is this disconnect, one with, you know, father-daughter, but two, from all the stuff that she's been through, she's got to have this belief in what the cause is for the right cause, right? And I don't know if she ever had that, and you could kind of tell she didn't because she had a phone,
right?
You know, and it was, you know, probably a teenage girl being a teenage girl, but
yeah. And I mean, I enjoy that aspect to it because it does kind of like show a little bit of the development, even if it is, like you said, kind of expedited for the sake of believability.
This isn't like, oh man, this movie sucks because I did it. There's no other way.
The whole thing down.
There's no other way around it. I would, you know, if it were me, it would have kept up with the sensitivities of being a high school girl and maybe figuring out another way. But like, in terms of where this movie goes and how it ends, like this isn't a, I'm done with it. You know.
Yeah, Chase Infinity, pretty great in the movie in my opinion. I think this is like her first.
I thought all of them were great, dude. I didn't think there was any one bad. Actor or actress in this thing. Like, the performances are all there, and I will say this: if you're tuning in at the end, just get behind Leo right away, because he is probably the one that soaks it down for me a little bit. And I say that it's also Perfidia, and I just don't know if I liked having an African American woman in that role doing that. Like, it felt
like maybe a little disingenuous of like. Why do we have to paint this in a negative light?
Yeah,
is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like if we're gonna make a conflicted person, I think white, black, Latina, you know, like it feels more so that because of the situation of what Willow was going through and what Leo was involved with, right, and getting up to that point and having a lot of emotional angst and aggression.
You have to make her kind of a selfish character in order to like get that plot thread going.
Yes.
But I also think, and I said this before, that Regina Hall's presence in the movie is sort of the answer to that.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
It's kind of showing both sides.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I
liked that there wasn't like a total, like, you know, one note kind of depiction of this sort of thing. You've got both different angles of like the motivations behind people involved in the revolution.
I think that's where, to me also too, with like the woke, not woke, right? Like, we're moving here, moving there, and saying it's black and white.
Go woke, go broke. Am I right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not. It doesn't have to be black and white, you know. And that's where what you're highlighting with this is that we are human beings and we all have conflictions.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't, because you're one race or another race, mean that you're only in this sort of stereotype, right?
Yeah.
And
nothing fits perfectly.
Yes, and that's where I think I appreciated about this movie is that we can have dignity and respect for people and do the right thing, and it doesn't have to be, oh, you fit into this glass container or that glass container.
Yeah, the ultimate thing that I gathered from this movie, building off what you were saying, is that we are kind of the choices that we make.
Yes.
And I think whether or not you are making the choices for insecure reasons, selfish reasons, noble reasons, or like just for pure survival, I think just kind of frames who you are as a person and your relationship to the world, for better or for worse.
Well said.
Shall we get into ratings for this? Unless there was something else we wanted. I mean, we didn't even talk about the music. Johnny Greenwood.
Oh, let's just technical level. This thing's a masterpiece.
Yeah, everything going on with this movie on a technical scale is just really well made.
Mm-hmm.
Like PTA at the top of his craft.
Yeah,
Johnny Greenwood coming in with the score.
The score was,
throughout the entire thing.
It reminded me so much of There Will Be Blood, but like on a
same guy,
twangier level, like on a Lebowski level. You know, like if you were, if There Will Be Blood, why can't I think of it? Daniel Plainview, you know, buttoned up, well kept, right, and that was the clean score that you got. This was like the drunk version of it.
Yeah. This is Leo stumbling into a 7-Eleven asking if he can use their charger.
Yes. Oh my God, that damn phone. I got a charge. All right, Bob. Way to go.
Shall we get into ratings?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Because we also have the Revenant to discuss.
Yeah, I know. And that's another. These are two meaty ones.
These are two very meaty boys.
Yeah.
I go first?
Yep.
So when I first watched this, I gave it a 9 out of 10. It was. I love your reactions to when I preface things that lead into another part of what I want to bring up. If you didn't tip your
hand, I'd be like, oh my God, where's he going? Is this an 8 or is this a 10? You've already said, like, it's already...
Get ready for a high 7, baby. No.
Yeah, right?
No, I mean, you know, like you said, I sometimes tip my hat quite a bit when it comes to my feelings on a movie, but to expound upon my specific feelings about this film, it's one of my favorites of the year. I think it's one of my favorite PTA movies. I think this is now ranked second amongst his filmography for me that I've seen.
Oh, wow.
The only ones I haven't checked out yet are Phantom Thread, Inherent Vice, and his very first one, Hard 8. And
Hard 8's good.
I'm excited to dive into the rest of what I need to watch, but this being a new entry makes me excited for at least the idea of us getting new original movies from these auteurs being able to do their thing. Whether it's this movie, Heat 2, or whatever the fuck Ridley Scott wants to do, I'm excited to continue seeing what PTA has in store for us. You know, he's still fairly young. He's in his 50s. Like David Fincher, he's got a lot more ahead of him. I think he's got a lot more in him. And this is just like a perfect coalescence of craft meeting storytelling and genre. So for me, this is a 10 out of 10. Second time watching, bumping it up to a 10.
Very nice. Very nice. Very, very, very nice.
Thank you.
I also have a score change. So I saw this, and like I said, usually for me, movies, like if I see a movie in theaters and I go, gonna have to check that one out again, normally there's a time either after discussion or after viewing it typically gets bumped up because it's piqued my curiosity. It's stuck with me, right? And I'm not gonna give grievance on maybe what I bumped shoulders with just because the second viewing usually aids that, right?
Yeah, more often than not, I find that rewatching a movie only helps it.
If you go like, I want to rewatch it.
Yes.
You know, sometimes there are movies where you go like, oh, this is on, I'm going to check it out because I remember I had issues.
Oh, it's been a while. Let's see where it lies.
And then you go, oh, yeah, that's right. So this one for me, I definitely had some issues with some of the things that while in the movie, maybe not necessarily grasping or getting behind or fully understanding, or in the case of Perfidia, like her character alone, it felt not disingenuous, but it felt a little bit, I guess it just confused me a little bit. And after talking about it, it's like, oh, okay. Like, no, like they did the service right. And exactly what we're saying, you know?
Like, what's the purpose of the character being this way? And
yeah, I mean, I understood a lot of the choices and what they were going for. I guess it irked me a little bit that, as an African American female making some of these things and having gone through Muskegon, and seeing that lifestyle, it's like feels a little bit too on the nose for me, with some of the things that I've been associated with and culturally speaking.
Sure.
But like the discussions that we typically have, usually there's more revelations that come about. So, I was comparing this a lot to Inherent Vice. Inherent Vice I've seen twice now, and both times I was like, I can't get behind this one. You know,
that one's a little more polarizing from what I understand.
Yes, and I thought this one was too, but as soon as we started talking, and I'm remembering the rich dialogue and the scenarios, and I know I love Benicio,
the performances,
man, like, and so I really think after talking about this, I'm enjoying this more, and this is definitely going to be something that either when it comes out to DVD or it gets streaming, like I'm popping it back on. So I had this as a high 8 out of 10. It started out as a low 8, and in the theater walking in, I was like, no, I enjoyed that more.
What about a hard 8?
I've seen that one. No, this is a 9. This is a 9 out of 10. I think
Nice.
I really enjoyed it, and I think this is gonna be kind of like a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood effect for me.
Yeah,
having
good comparison.
Like, man, I enjoyed it, and I don't know necessarily I got it, and then after talking about it, just being like, yeah, I really, I like this character, and I think going in seeing Leo in a different lens the next time is going to be incredibly beneficial.
Yeah, in Heat 2, Michael Mann's Heat 2, where he plays Neil McNulty.
What's so funny about that is, so I've been texting Sam because they got some stuff going on with the Val, and they had to cancel a game, and it's just, there's more. The issues that you think would go away aren't going away. Mm-hmm. And we started talking about Heat a little bit, and I can't remember. It was kind of just, we always do like, who would this guy be? Who would that guy be? And so we were talking about Heat quite a bit, and I just can't believe that Heat 2's now around the corner. Like it's fantastic. I don't know if he'll, we'll see. I'm not big on sequels, but I'll give it its fair shake.
Yeah. We'll see what Mann has in store for us. Speaking of Mann.
Yeah.
Mann oftentimes finds themselves at odds with nature. And what better way to depict the conflict between man and nature than in a guy getting shredded to hell by a bear? I'm talking, of course, about The Revenant. My recommendation for this episode. So we watched The Revenant. Came out 2015. It's American epic Western action drama film. It's a bunch of adjectives in there. Bunch of descriptors. It was directed and written in part by Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu. Also, a hand in the screenplay by Mark L. Smith. I think he had the screenplay ready when Iñárritu had signed on, and then Iñárritu had some rewriting ideas. Mark L. Smith said, hey, I don't know if some of this stuff that you're writing we're going to be able to film. And then Iñárritu looked at him, winked his eye, and said, trust me, kid. And then, God damn it, they did it. This is based on The Revenant by Michael Punk, I believe, and stars Leonardo DiCaprio as Hugh Glass, a frontiersman in the midst of the fur trade of 1823. And he is out with this group of fur trappers when they get descended upon by the Ree, which is a Native American tribe, who is the chief is looking for his daughter, Pakwa, and Leo and his group have to kind of navigate, make their way back to the fort because they were laid siege upon. Now they have to escape. He's got his son in tow, Hawk, who is half indigenous, and you get a little bit of a backstory on Leo scattered throughout the film, learning more about it as it goes along. When he's out hunting, Leo gets attacked by a bear, and they have to make a decision. Do we keep trying to carry him to Fort Kiowa, or do we kind of leave him behind until he peacefully passes away? And one of the people who volunteers to stay with him alongside his son and Jim Bridger, played by Will Poulter, is Fitzgerald, portrayed by our one and only WWTHD Tom Hardy.
God, what a piece of shit.
What a scumbag, right? He's kind of a messy bitch in this movie, that Tom Hardy.
Ultimate messy bitch.
Ultimate messy bitch. I think he's having a brat summer, this Tom Hardy. This John Fitzgerald. So we get a depiction of the sort of selfish act that Tom Hardy does, that Fitzgerald does in this movie.
Lightly dosed.
To put it lightly. And Leo has to seek revenge. Hugh Glass has to seek revenge against Fitzgerald for what he did. So spoiler alerts for The Revenant. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Come back to this point in the episode. Re-listen, because we're going to spoil the shit out of this movie.
Yeah.
I want to ask you this right off rip.
Okay.
Going into this film for the first time, do you remember what plot points you knew about it? Because I knew about the bear attack. That was obviously in the marketing. I also, for some reason, I think knew his son got killed. His son was killed by Fitzgerald. And that was part of the motivation for Hugh Glass wanting revenge, alongside them leaving him for dead.
Nope. I really can't. I remember it being Inarritu coming off of Birdman.
Yes.
Leo was in it.
Mm-hmm.
1800 survival film. He gets attacked by a bear and he comes back, and I think from my remembering of it, more posed in the sense of he's got to survive the elements as opposed to get revenge.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of like all that, and I knew Tom Hardy was in it, and I don't think really Tom Hardy was in any of the marketing.
No.
Like, if I remember right, like, kind of knowing he was in it, but not knowing his role.
It was a lot of Leo and the bear.
Yeah, like, it's
him having to, like, make his way through the woods.
Yeah.
Like you get scenes of, like, him kind of diving off the cliff with the horse, and then
that was the ending of the
trailer.
Yeah. It was kind of that whole makeup, because you don't know when really where everything falls into place.
With a lot of, like, landscape shots and, like, the cinematography kind of, like, shining through.
Yeah, and I think there was, like, you kind of knew that the Ree was on them, the Native Americans was pursuing them. So, like, but to know that he was a trapper, that there was going to be a crew of people, and that he had to get. I don't remember much of that.
Yeah.
So, like, going into this was mostly like, all right, like, we're gonna see. It was kind of like Castaway was the feeling.
Yeah, like this kind of the sense of isolation.
Yeah,
like see what this guy has to go through in order to survive.
Right,
yeah.
Right, and like how Grizzly's this. I mean, part of the pun. Is this bear attack gonna be? Like, could it be just a glancing shot? My leg doesn't work anymore. Like, you don't really know.
No, so one of the more, I think, like, kind of universally acknowledged scenes of this movie as being like one of the best scenes of the film is the bear attack.
Yeah,
like just pure thrills. There's no music going on at all. No. You just get, like, the sounds of, like, nature and the bear noises and, like, the Foley of Leo's skin getting scratched up and, like, him kind of, like, crying out in grizzled agony, pardon the pun.
Yeah.
And that just kind of carrying the scene in of itself. Plus
very
the
organic.
effect of the bear, like, still holding up. This is a 10-year-old movie, and I feel like the CG on the bear is, like, still fantastic.
Yeah, I didn't bump up at it with it at all.
No. And it's like it's shot in a way that's like, okay, you're like kind of stylistically portraying this like purely from Leo's point of view. So like sometimes the bear comes in and then he like dips out for a while. Leo kind of has to reassess of like, can I get away with shooting him in the head with my gun? Oh, no, fuck.
Yeah.
And it's one of those scenes where it's just like it just works on its own. It's kind of like its own short story of like man in woods gets attacked by bear. Can he make it through it?
Literally, I mean, I feel like you could that scene in and of itself could be its own thing.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like I could see people, and I did it too when it first came out. Or once I don't remember if I rented it or, but it's like, I got to watch the bear attack scene again. And I remember Jasmine loves bears, and I said, I'm going to show you the Revenant and what bears can do, because you're going to get it's not fantastical attack, right? Like,
this is what's going to happen if you try to hug one of these things.
Yeah, like
bears are terrifying,
dude. And like, in my head with this whole attack thing too, because it's so funny. Like, you see. Like now, like everyone sees a bear now, right? And everyone has videos, and you're watching. It's like, oh wow, that's like not huge, You know, it's not the Edge with Anthony Hopkins bear level, right?
Yeah, it's not like with Barry the Bear.
Yeah, you're just watching it.
Famous movie bear.
Yeah, you're like, oh, that's like it's a large animal, you know. But then you see the ferocity of this thing. It's like
People forget how fast those fuckers move,
dude. In the movie theater, so I went and saw this with some football players, right? Because I was a grad assistant at Ferris, and
brag about it.
yeah, and the guys that I was staying with were like, we gotta go check out this film, and I just remember like, so you hear the cubs, right? And you always, it's one of those things when they talk about how territorial animals are, especially when their cubs are around. Like, you know, there's reels out there, right? But like, I just remember you see the cubs and like it's Leo and you can hear the rustling, you know, and it gets quiet and you're like, all right, where's this thing gonna come from? And then it pans over his shoulder and he kind of does like, you know, that quick like, I'm gonna get my gun here and it's probably 15 to 20 yards away. And as soon as like he like goes like that, my buddy next to me, he goes, like knew that it was just gonna end. Like, dude, that thing is on you so fast. Like it is, yeah. Yeah, in terms of like the I think there's probably only like there's more moments of tension in this thing than I give credit for.
There's a lot packed into this.
Yes.
That I think people often forget about after they watch this movie, because there is a lot of kind of meditative, like almost borderline surreal depictions of like nature and the environment and like just the landscape.
Malick effect.
It's very, very Terrence Malick.
Yeah.
In a way that makes this feel a little more. I mean, I've only seen one Terrence Malick movie, but like this feels a lot more environment forward than I think something like Tree of Life does.
Go watch The Thin Red Line.
Okay, I will eventually. I will eventually.
Dude, you got one under your belt. You know, wait till you got 4 of those things under your belt. Badlands is another one that comes into mind. Where Badlands is, yeah. Anyways.
All that to say is that very similar kind of evocations of emotions there.
Yeah, very. Is it? Oh my god, I keep ethereal or ephemeral.
Ethereal.
Yeah, ethereal. Like it's almost like on the edge of the universe, and like, you know, like touching fingers with God, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of moments of, you know, where are we kind of at in
like,
the world?
It's one of those movies that you watch and it makes you feel kind of small. Like it makes you realize just how insignificant you are compared to like, and I'm not even talking like the universe or like space type of shit.
Yeah.
I'm just talking like mountains and trees and rivers, my guy.
Oh
like,
yeah, no, like I remember kind of having like a very like existential moment is after he's getting healed and he goes to the church and it's got the bell and it's a very beautiful shot and he's kind of walking through.
Love that
right
scene. Holy
and
shit.
That was my moment of being like, whoa, you know, like I don't like, am I supposed to feel this way? This is kind of weird.
Yeah.
You know, like little out of body, little like where am I going right now? You know?
One of the bigger things I took away from this last rewatch, and I take a lot away from this movie every time
Humble
I watch
brag.
it. I know, right? Up my own ass, is the idea that you can have this environment be so itself and peaceful and serene and just have it be beautiful in its landscape. And the idea that we as people have made this environment hostile towards us with the things that we've done to it in terms of, and I'm not just talking about like, you know, modern day industrialization and like, you know, pollution and all that shit. I'm just talking about the different ways in which we have to navigate nature in relation to ourselves.
Oh yeah.
We plunge ourselves into this environment that is so beautiful and lovely and serene and quiet at times. Yet it can be the most dangerous shit imaginable, large part because of our own involvement, because of like what we've done not only to the environment but also like to ourselves and how we've like divided ourselves up as people and how like we've got this idea of like different tribes and conflicts and wars and stuff going on, and how like a lot of the struggle that Leo goes through in this movie has to do with other people. I mean,
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's only because of him being in the bear's environment that he gets attacked, and like that's one of the only instances in this movie of which, like, yeah, this is just like kind of pure nature showing its power towards this person. And then every other scene after that of conflict is very human centered. In this environment.
Yes.
Maybe save for the snowstorm that he finds himself in after he like falls off the horse and faints, and then his friend has to like make that tent around him.
I mean,
but
he goes through a bunch of challenges when it comes to nature.
Yes.
I mean, there isn't like him getting away from the but then going through the rapids. The horse, having to navigate. Even at the end of the film, there's a avalanche that's occurring that he's kind of watching and he's looking at because of the gunshot and having to assess then like, am I gonna get hit with this thing or not?
Right. It's one of those things where I love the way that Iñárritu just kind of mirrors that idea of the beauty of nature and the hostility of it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I just, that's something that I really took away from this last viewing.
It's a great. I think I have a hard time putting myself in those moments, and it might just be either small world effect where I've only got the perspective I have from the places I've gone. Mm-hmm.
And the fact that we don't live in 1823,
you know what I'm
that
saying?
I think helps
like,
too a little bit.
Well, it's just you have these things like, so it's funny because they have to make choices on how to get to a fort that is 50 miles away, 100 miles away. Like the next landmark of civilization in this world is somewhere where they have to travel from. It would be like going from here to, let's say, Houghton, Michigan, which is an 8-hour car ride or a 10-hour car ride here. So imagine the walk that you have to make. So we don't have those problems, and it's there's a fucking argument that stems of we're going up or we're going down,
and this could literally be life or death.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So it's the appreciation that you have is you have to take a step back when you're watching this thing, and even then it could be challenging. Like, and I know you've been in Wyoming or Yosemite or like you've gone places where you can understand and have that sense of, okay, like I could, if this were 20 years ago without this path here and I still had to walk it, I might not make it.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and so it just depends on your kind of all world perspective and seeing these landmarks and this beauty. It can be hard to fathom. Like one guy, so they go as soon as at the very beginning attack him, and Leo says, ditch the boat, we're not going down the river, which by the way is probably going to cut down 2 months of travel. Mm-hmm. The guy goes, we're not walking around this terrain because like it's going to take us 50, 60 days to get home. And hearing that is like the winter's gonna hit, and I'm like, what are we talking about? Like, why are we talking about it? And then you get to see it played out, and it blows my mind.
Yeah, I will fully acknowledge that there is a level of comfort that I just inherently have living in this time period that I sometimes take for granted. It's one of those things where like
it's modern
with this movie or Society of the Snow. I watch this movie and go like, damn, that sucks. As I'm like curled up in my blanket, watching Leo get attacked
adjusting
by a
your
bear.
Recliner.
Right. Going to the pantry, wondering what crackers I can munch on, while Leo's like carving bone marrow out of a skeleton.
Birds, carving bone marrow out, getting the strings,
literally chewing on grass as I'm like munching on Sour Patch Kids.
Man, that would suck.
What would suck more, the grass or the bone marrow?
I couldn't tell you. They're everything that gentleman eats in that thing. When you first watch it, you go, I'm a hard ass. I could do it. And then this time I was watching it, I was like, bro, put that meat on a fire.
Full acknowledgement that I could never do any of this stuff.
Well, you say that. So I've had this conversation too. You'd be shocked what your brain will go to in order for you to survive.
My brain will go, I've had enough, and then I would walk into the water and never come back.
And that's a comfortability thing with yourself.
Yes.
I definitely think so I've had this conversation before, and I really think I'm like, we are, because of evolution, we are programmed to survive. It is in our innate disposition to keep going. Yeah. Right.
We at a certain point, your body just kind of like resets and goes into the factory settings of like, all right, what's the minimum I have to do to keep myself alive?
And like he's very smart about it because he's endured the elements, and so he would know, all right, I have to eat bone marrow out of this dead crow. Right. But I definitely think like if you were on day 6 out in the wilderness, you're not walking out into the water. You're like, I wonder if tree bark has any nutrients.
Right.
You know, like we're going to give this one a shot.
Yeah. There's an element to this movie that I think just like inherently immerses you in the idea of like, if I were in his shoes, how would I react to this? Would I be able to survive this? And I think that's just kind of like the majesty of the simplicity of it. Is just like Iñárritu able to take this kind of linear idea of like point A to point B revenge story and instill a lot of these ideas about nature and struggle and like the human condition and like relationships and just like the time period and hardships that people had to endure during that point. It's impressive to me that he is able to fit all that into a film that is, by all intents and purposes, as simple as this and can kind of function as like a straightforward revenge thriller in of its own right.
Yeah.
I feel like you can show this movie to a lot of people who aren't even like that into movies and tell them it's a revenge thriller. It's got Leonardo DiCaprio. Let's watch it. And I feel like most people would get on board with it. You're kind of shaking your head disagreeing.
No, I don't think the common audience would, simply because of the dialogue.
This movie made like about $530 million.
I hear that.
Yeah.
I think this movie made $500 million because there's a bear attack scene, and that people,
and I think Leo's name carries a lot of weight.
Yes, like listen, the people. Average Joe isn't walking out going, I'm going to go hit up IMDb and tell them that this is a 5 out of 10 because of this, this, and this. Like, you're getting the people that want to talk about movies with a well-made film. I'm watching it simply from the aspect that there's a good 40-minute chunk where it is surrealism and him kind of crawling on his legs trying to get to the next point. So I think that there's, at least nowadays, and 10 years ago, it might not have been the case because iPhones had only been around for 5 years. You know, it was still making its way into being like a landmark item,
rough, give or take.
You know what I'm saying?
Probably like
there's
7
like
years,
the way that the times have changed. So this is a really great film, and I'm not knocking. I'm just saying I think the common audience member nowadays, if you put this on, would lose somewhat interest. I will say though, if you take out some of the surrealism with it. And you trimmed it down to 220, straightforward, absolutely. I think more credit can be given to certain types of people who go and see movies purely for blockbusters, and then they come across this movie. I usually use my parents as like this litmus test. Yeah,
and
that's a good one.
If they watch this movie, I mean, I've shown them this movie before. They enjoy this film.
Yeah.
And if they enjoy a film like this, then I can use that as like kind of a test gauge of like, all right, I think most people who like watching movies on a regular basis, maybe not like general audience people who like only go see movies once a year in theaters, but like people who regularly throw something on, I think could enjoy this a fair amount. I can see the main complaint of it being a little slow and long, like for them, which to me, this movie's perfect and I love every inch of it, but I could see that as like, oh, you know, yeah, kind of a little too artsy for me, a little too slow. I'm gonna throw on Captain America again.
Yeah.
Like let's go with that.
Yeah,
because it is a beefy movie, 156 minutes.
Oh yeah, I'm not knocking it.
Yeah,
it was. I mean, the nice thing is it never. So I've seen this movie 4 or 5 times.
I've seen this movie probably 10, 15 times.
I mean,
it's hard to say now.
Yeah, and it's I haven't seen it in about, I don't know, 5 to 7 years.
I probably rewatch this like, if not once a year, once every couple years.
I guess my point is, a little bit more of the point. This is a revisit for me. Like this isn't like I've seen it last year and I know the points. Like this was a good litmus test on, all right, where was I at? Because I have my initial remembrance of the film, right? And then my second viewing, third viewing, like I don't remember much of them because I'm just watching it. You know, there's like key points I want to see. So having to watch this from a grading scale, more of a subjective scale, I mean, it held up, you know, and it kept me engaged the whole time. And while there are points where it kind of gets a little, I mean, I say tedious.
And I can see that.
I mean, it's, you know, it wasn't like a yawn, I'm passing out. Like, I mean, I had this on at fucking 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah. This is a movie in which I fully acknowledge for me. And, you know, I've mentioned it in the last episode. I'll mention it again this episode. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. So forgive me showing the hand again, but that's just kind of...
I mean, you bring up the Revenant every other episode. So.
Yeah. It's established as, like, for me, this is canon and, like, one of my longest favorites that I've had. And I wanted to recommend this mostly because it had been a minute since I watched it. Also, we got One Battle After Another that came out starring Leonardo DiCaprio. I figure, well, I'll recommend my favorite Leo movie.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that this is my favorite Leo performance, which we can talk about later, but that this is one that I have held onto the longest in terms of labeling it as one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So rewatching this movie this last time, it really did give me this sense of comfortability in the film itself.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is sometimes I'll rewatch a movie and I'll get re-pumped up for it. Like Mad Max Fury Road. I throw that movie on, I'm like, fuck yeah. This is like energizing me again. This is like getting the juices flowing. Like, I'm in it. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
And then I throw this movie on, I'm like, I know what to expect. I know what I'm getting into with like the bear attack and the son getting killed, Tom Hardy's performance, Leo crawling through everything, the like whole vast depiction of nature. And I have seen this movie so many times, I could probably just like frame by frame identify what scene is like in which point in the movie. Like if you showed me a still frame, I could tell you like, oh, we're in between this scene and that scene.
Yeah.
And rewatching it this last time, it's not like I was like re-energized or like, you know, pumped up to see it. I don't know if this is a movie that you can necessarily get pumped up for.
You can if it's been 6 months and you've enjoyed it in theaters and it gets the DVD.
Right, which I think at one point I was in that headspace when I was really first getting into this film. But now that I've seen it so many times, just like, yeah, I can like kind of live in this. I can just kind of like let it wash over me again.
But that's
and I'll still have the same appreciation for it.
Yeah, you get pumped for the comfortability.
Yeah, I do.
Being able to be in this world.
I'm kind of a freak.
No, I mean, I do it with No Country for Old Men, and I do it with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like, those movies can, at points, I mean, there are different movies that can be slow burns that you can be like, man, I really just enjoyed this element, or I'm in this movie. And that's why we make movies.
Part of that, too, was the score. Like, the score really helped to kind of just like put me in that state this time around. And it's not like I never thought about the score, obviously. Like, I think it's iconic. You like hear the couple of notes from those string instruments and it's just like, yeah, it's immediately identifiable. Yes. But I'm going to try my best to pronounce the names because there's two people credited for the music. Alva Noto and Ryuichi Sakamoto.
Did they win an Oscar?
So let me see. It won for Best Director, Best Actor, Best Cinematography. I don't think it won for Best Music. I'd be curious what won that year. Maybe I can look it up as we're going along.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, the music really stood out to me this time of just like perfectly evoking the kind of like melancholic nature of this movie and the landscape. It's a very kind of like cool, blue, like sad movie.
Yeah, I don't know about. I don't get into sad. I've read so. Punk.
I get a lot of sad from this.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I could see it that way. Yeah, I guess it's about
because to me, I mean,
lens.
like the like grieving father aspect of it, like you know him losing his son, and then like reminiscing about like how his significant other was murdered, and you know where he got to that position because of those events, and like. Just the different kind of miserable scenarios that Leo is finding himself in from scene to scene.
Yeah.
I don't know. It makes it melancholic.
It is. I mean, without a doubt, I guess I take it more from survival and you know, the will of a human being. And there was a, you know, one of the things that they said, he talks about finding the man that killed his son to the Indian, and they said, well, revenge is not for you, revenge is for God, right? And
revenge is in the creator's hands,
Yes.
not mine.
yeah, well, Leo says that the Indians said that to him.
The indigenous person
Yes.
said creator, Leo says God.
Yeah, I mean that's so.
I mean, same basic principle.
I from that element, that's why there's a little bit maybe different emotions that are propelling me forward with it outside of it, because I mean I guess I feel maybe the hatred that he has, or the whatever angry adjective you want to throw in there.
It adds a passion to the motivation,
Right.
And
So you say
guides you along with it.
Yeah,
and I think that there's different elements of this movie that you can kind of like identify with and get behind.
yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I guess when you speak passion, like that's where I think of. That's where the sadness does not. This movie, yeah, for sure. This movie is like you. There's different ways to take it in and soak it in, right? Because it's also, I mean, to me, I'm like looking at the Times and Elvis. I'm like, dude, people are dying of dysentery.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I'm saying?
you get like a head cold and you'll die the next day.
Yeah, your body's rotten, bro.
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna put you in a sauna for a day.
A makeshift sauna in the middle of this snowstorm.
Yeah,
Just
and
like
then
gotta sweat this out.
the
bro.
guy that saves him is hanging from a tree, literally like 2 seconds, and it's just, oh, I guess it's of the times, you know.
And I think that's a big reason why I love this movie too, is because I don't want to throw around the term post-apocalyptic all the time, but it really does feel like, yeah, the landscape is so harsh that you are living outside the bounds of a civilization.
Yeah.
Like, you have to like dig into your primal self in order to get through whatever it is coming your way.
That's yes, and they do. I mean, and that's the sense that you get through with all of this, right? So that's why I don't know. Maybe if there was more resources at hand for them, I'd feel a little bit more upset about what was going on. But I guess it's just like, dude, during this time, like everyone, and it wasn't like it's just him. You know, I mean, like Fitzgerald, while villain, shouldn't have any sympathy, right? You understand his plight, like and this is where I was dying laughing, like watching this thing, just thinking like, I don't know how mad I'd be if I did a 6-month excursion only to have the last 20 minutes, $600 ripped out of my hand that was going to be my life savings and get me out of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like how do you, I mean, that's depressing, but also at the same time too, like, holy shit, you know, like how do you fathom that?
Yeah, fuck that. Why do you think they all get drunk and just dance in this like wooden
That's
shack?
why I was like, you're sitting there like, you know, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like
a lot of drinking back then. It's
Yeah.
because life fucking sucked, bro.
Yeah, exactly. That's
It's
what I'm
kind of shit.
Yeah. So I mean, that's why maybe it's just that's where I hang my head. I'm like, yeah, it was impressive, but it wasn't just Leo. I mean, everyone's going through it.
No, this segues perfectly into the performances.
Yes.
So let's talk about it. Shall we start with WWTHD? Is that where we should jump off, or should we start with Leo?
No, I mean it doesn't matter who, they're all great. Like there's no one that's bad.
I think I want
Dom was like,
I want to talk about how, so this was Leo's so far first and only Academy Award win for lead actor in a film.
shame.
And a lot of people have this idea that he should have won it for Wolf of Wall Street. He should have won it for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He should have won it for Django.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were like, well, is he really doing that much? Because he doesn't talk that much in the movie. And in my opinion, I feel like acting is, you know, it's something that's been said to death since this movie's existed. But it is one of those things where the physicality of the performance is the performance.
Yes.
That is what he's conveying. And the fact that Leo can go through this whole thing in the environment that he is, conveying the amount of pain he's in. And you know the varying degrees in which he's in pain. Like, you can differentiate that based on his facial expressions and how he's carrying himself. I think is very impressive and is kind of underrated in terms of like performances in this movie specifically.
Yeah.
Because you know, rightfully acknowledged, people talk about Tom Hardy's fantastic in this movie. His performance is like stand out.
He's got the most to chew on. He's got lines.
Yeah.
He's fucking jaded.
And that's why people bring that up.
Yeah,
is because he has more to work with in terms of dialogue.
Well, and
and like
Listen,
a character philosophy, I guess.
He knocks it. They both do.
They both do.
You know
that's what I'm
like,
saying.
It's not. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm not yelling at you. It's mostly
You're yelling at the people that I'm talking about that have this mentality.
I would at that time, 2015, probably be on the side of those people. I've come more to the conclusion with acting itself is that it is a overall performance in which am I looking at Leonardo DiCaprio acting like he's hurt, or is this Hugh Glass hurt? Right?
Because people will think of the term acting and they'll think, oh, it's got to be like kind of loud, pure emotion.
Yeah, go.
Like, you've got to be either yelling about something that you're passionate about, or you have to give like a perfect monologue.
You have to
of
cry on
something.
screen.
Yeah,
Right? Like that's you have to cry on screen and make it believable.
yeah.
Right? And that's not his now it's tough. I mean, for me it's tough because one, I've seen this, but two, it's also like I don't know the pain he's experiencing, and I don't know like what I would do experiencing that much pain.
Right.
You know, so like that connection there is always, I think, difficult when you're with the physical acting going on outside of like, you know, your choreography stuff. But watching it this time around, I'm like, dude, like he's got nothing to do besides crawl and eat and throw up.
Mm-hmm.
And like you are 1,000% on board with what he's going through.
Yeah. Because imagine like any lesser actor in that situation trying to make those scenarios convincing, and it could go wrong very easily.
1,000, yeah, dude. Like, I mean, throw in Pedro Pascal there. Like, who knows?
Pedro catching strays.
Well,
this
I'm
episode.
just saying. I'm not saying it'd be good or bad. I'm just saying, like,
Right.
you don't know what you're gonna get. Like, that's that. To have Leo in this role and to say you're the guy to do this because your performance is either gonna make or break this film, right? Like. Imagine it's, you know, like you're army crawling, right? And like you eat the meat and you start ripping it and it's like you're turning into a rabid dog and it's like, I love meat. You know, like there are times where audience members would be like, what? You know, like what? I thought he was really hurt. I can't tell where he's at, you know? Like it's such a lose-lose that for him to win it is like, it's tenfold.
It's an acknowledgement of the achievement of the film itself. And that's what I'm going to stand by whenever I talk about this movie. And the fact that he does have dialogue that I think showcases his ability to adapt to the character situation. Like he gets his throat torn up by the bear. For the rest of the movie, he talks like he's got fucking frogs in his throat.
He doesn't talk until he can talk.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
he's talking to Donald Gleason. He's like,
I've got him trapped in the woods. He just doesn't know it yet.
he kind of sounds like Cricket from Always Sunny.
Yeah.
He's kind of doing that voice a little bit. But in the beginning, he's got like a normal kind of like speaking voice, a little bit of like a frontiersman drawl to it, but it's still there. It's still like at a regular register. And then he gets torn up by that bear and he's like,
How do you kill my boy? Why'd you kill my boy?
And you know, like what I liked about it too is that you're in this role, right? And what he endures, you're expecting him to be this hard ass guy.
yeah,
And I really like.
there's a sensitivity to it. Yeah.
Well, it's not sensitivity. He's kind of like a meek person. You know, like he understands kind of the way the world works. He also understands that, you know, if him and Fitzgerald go at it, if he gets cut, he could die. And he's not looking at the very beginning of that being a fight he wants to take.
It's a perfect foil because Tom Hardy throughout the film is so like kind of loud and abrasive.
He's
and
a
just
bully.
like in everybody's face. And then Hugh Glass just keeps to himself.
Yeah.
Keep polishing that rifle.
Yeah, that's what I'm, you know, and like it's a he's obviously he's capable of. If it's Fitzgerald, if you switch roles and Fitzgerald had that happen, he's probably laying up next to a tree dead, right? I don't know if he's got enough anger in his heart to propel him to go forward, but because of Leo's character, you know, Hugh Glass is, you know, being a marksman or a hunter or a
tracker,
guide,
yeah.
a tracker, right? Like he's got enough sensibility around what's happening to understand what's going on, but like in no way is he like Arnold from Predator, right? Or like. He's really just like this normal guy that's pretty good at tracking that. Like I applauded it this time around seeing it because like, all right, Leo got attacked by a bear. He's the ultimate hard ass. He survives nature, right? Like if you were just to go like, boom, 3 sentences, like to me, that's it. Okay, I read that out to you. You got to be thinking, all right, this guy's like a commando.
Yeah, this
Navy
guy's like
SEAL.
Rambo. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's literally it's him, and he's kind of just quiet, keeps to himself. Like, I know the terrain.
Yeah. He's kind of just raggedy dude.
Yes, right.
That's who he's playing.
So that's why I really liked everything that's going on with him too, because you're watching this through the sense of like, all right, this isn't the strongest, most capable guy doing this. This is just a guy that has sheer will and understands what he's dealing with because he's been in it before. Just now he's handicapped.
Yeah.
And I that plays into it more so when you watch it this time around. At least for me, I should say, on that level. I gave him way more props this time around than I did the first time.
Tom Hardy.
Yeah, fucking fantastic.
Fucking rules.
Yeah.
The monologue he has where he talks about how his father found religion, how he found God, and how he was up down South Sabbath Hills. You know South Sabbath Hills? Well, he was out there with his Texas Ranger buddies of his, and he goes through the whole thing. He's like, and God is a squirrel. And his eyes in that scene are so chilling to me.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this guy has like kind of lost it. Or like he's always kind of been like on the edge of like sanity, like just kind of not completely with it.
I took it more of a bitterness for the world. And that like God's a squirrel. God is what we decide, or God is
right.
It's nothing. It's not this all-knowing deity. It's something that you could you pluck out of the woods, and then that's it. Like he's so jaded with everything.
I was gonna say there's like a nihilism to his character that acknowledges like everything's kind of bullshit, and I'm still gonna be an obnoxious fucker because of it. Like,
he's got plans, and he needs his money, and I relate a little bit to maybe not relate, but definitely understand like 6 months. So we're in October now. So imagine way back in April and just think about what occurred in April, right? And your life's changed from then to do work every day for, 8 to 10 hours to get up to a point that right now someone's going to run into this house and you have to get out and you lose everything. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't fathom what that would feel like. And then couple it with I'm already pissed off with, I've seen the problems of the world and I've been screwed over way before. Like that, he just plays into a lot of the guys that have, it's a negative mindset. I don't agree with it, but also
he's not on that grind set.
No,
that's for sure.
He kind of isn't. He kind of isn't, because when it doesn't go his way, he's like, "You're still going to pay me. Now you paid me to do the work."
It didn't
matter where those pelts ended up at. I did the work.
He's got to get that bag, twin.
Yeah,
that's what he's saying.
Hell yeah, for shizzle. Yeah. So like, but like his character the whole time, just him kind of more and more delving into the darkness. Like he's obviously up front, he saved someone's life. He's kind of like, I'm going to take control because like we want to live. And then it's just more and more, it's just chipping away at him that he gets to the point where he's just comfortable killing another man.
And it's not like necessarily like malice or hostility. It's just kind of apathy. Like, it's just like, I don't really care what happens. I'm just going to, go into self-preservation mode. Yeah.
Like, listen, it's if we don't kill him or leave him, I'm dead and I'm not dying. And that's what I like, given where you're at in the movie and where the movie's set are taking place. Like, it's just wild to think that those were decisions you'd have to make.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Because, I mean, that we like to think that we're better than Fitzgerald, but I don't know. Maybe we're doing some nefarious stuff. Maybe we're leaving Leo in a pit.
Yeah.
And having Will Poulter maybe try to shoot him in the head. I don't know.
And the crazy thing is, it's like, you're like that. It's defining your character. Like, so Jim Bridger in this thing, like, I feel bad for him because he's putting at odds.
Played by Will Poulter.
Yeah. And he's fantastic. And
he's great.
It's one of those things where it's like, all right, you have a gun to your head. Are you leaving him or are you coming with? The Ree's there. You were lied to. Like, there's just so many of this put into a bad spot where I ultimately feel like he gets screwed over in all this between being good and bad. But I think he plays out in the perfect light of what it meant during that time on the decisions that you were making and what was morally, or what was a good reflection of your character.
He played someone who was very convincing in how little choice he had in everything going on.
Yeah, and it makes you kind of wonder too, though. I mean, was there more of a choice that he could have made, or is he ultimately saying, like, making us feel this way with the lack of making a right choice?
I think his character serves as like being the most relatable in terms of like, all right, who would I be in this scenario?
Yes,
because I'm not Tom Hardy.
No,
certainly not Leo.
No,
I'm more than likely just going to be this kid who's scared shitless that Tom Hardy's going to put a bullet in his head.
Well, and do you stay and help or do you go?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so crazy too. It's just like, because you're walking too. It's not like you're in a car and you can just be like, you know what? No, I'm going to no country. Like I got to go back and help.
They don't find horses until later. So they're just like fucking trekking it the whole time.
They're walking. I wish I could remember what he said, but the winter's going to hit. We're still going to be on. We're going to get caught up in it and die. And it's like, bro, like it's the fall. Like you're walking to a fort.
Yeah.
Where the fuck are you going?
Oh, they're way out there. Their GPS led them astray.
Did we go up or down the mountain?
To go up or down. What a decision.
That was it. And it's gonna. Hey, like, listen, guys, we're going up. This might be it, though.
Yeah.
Like, hey, there's two directions we could go, and hopefully on the coin flip we pick the right one or we die.
Right.
Like, that's wild.
This movie has so many instances of like that being a perfect showcase of that environment.
Yes.
Like when they decide to ditch the boat and the two guys who are on it just stay on.
Yeah.
They're like, I wish I was on that boat. It kind of rubs his like scalped head or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to the next scene and it's like, oh yeah, those guys were fucked.
Yeah.
Like they just immediately got killed by the reed.
Yeah.
And made the wrong choice. It's just simple as that.
It's
the environment and how harsh it is, but also how fucked we ourselves have made it as human beings.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's yes.
One more performance that I think we need to talk about, Donald Gleason.
He was kind of like, I felt like he was a little overmatched.
You think so?
I
think that's kind of the magic of his character in a way. So I want to hear your thing, but I have my kind of stance on how I feel about him in relation to everyone else.
Okay. So there's a certain presence that he's supposed to invoke. There's he's butting up against Tom Hardy, so he has to be able to take control of that situation. There's a trust that he has to have for Leo, so there's more of a sensitivity of what's going on and with his men. I think and maybe this plays into it, the lack of control that he was supposed to have and the way that he played it just felt like he played into the hands a little bit more. I a little bit more passion, right? But now, this is where forgiveness comes. Mm-hmm. Him at the end of this movie, fantastic.
I think that the end of this movie, him kind of like stepping up to the plate, is kind of the natural arc for his character. Because when you're first introduced to him, he's a little gruff, but like he's got like a captain's outfit on. He's like kind of a captain. He's a little lanky. He comes off as someone who is doing his best to pretend to have authority. Yes. Like he feels like he is, and he mentions like he's the son of a doctor. He's probably been put in that position rather than necessarily earned it. So then you get the sense that like, okay, he's not like the rest of the guys in that like there's a little bit more to him in terms of like they probably don't view him as much of a conventional man or like conventionally masculine in that same way.
I wish my dad was a doctor.
Right.
I could don that captain's outfit real well.
There's like some compensation that I think his character, and I don't think you cast Donald Gleason to not have this effect.
Right.
There's compensation from his character of trying to exert that authority over the other men.
Yes.
And I think him kind of coming into that at the end when he sort of loses it and is looking for Fitzgerald and like kind of lets a little bit more of the emotionality of that slip through is when it shines fully for me.
And that if that's the intent, they nailed it.
Which I think it is.
I'm trying to like it's to me like vanilla acting is what I call it. When you play the character, you're given the lines and you can kind of hit some of those emotional tones. There's always like a little something missing, right? Mm-hmm. So I guess what my point would be, Tom Hardy, right? Let's say that you're a jaded frontiersman that gets screwed out of $600 because your racist ass watches indigenous people steal pelts, right? So take that and that his eyes in that conversation about finding God, like you just from the conversation, like you're locked in just to him and how he's looking, right? I never had that with Damo. Like I was never looking at like his kind of mannerisms or how he was conducting himself, and a lot of it was just kind of like not either playing too sheepishly or too overconfident, right? Or like I'm gonna puff my chest even though that if you come up I'm gonna shrink.
Yeah,
and like it was just some of those subtleties that I never got. It just felt like vanilla acting, and I think especially given that role or that position of I have to play it one way, but truly inside I'm a different way. Because you're split, it may not require the full effect of what someone else could have given.
I think I see your point. In my opinion, I think if they had tried to give, if he had tried to give more of a, I guess like for the sake of argument, performance, it would have maybe risked getting in the way of what Leo was doing or getting in the way of what Tom Hardy was doing.
Yeah, well,
because he's ultimately not that important of a character, and I don't know how much of that would have taken away from what the other two main players were doing. I'm saying this in a way that I am sort of unsure of, obviously. Like
sticking up for Damo. He's like, this is my favorite film, god damn it.
Listen, I'm going to stick up for him because I think he is generally underrated as an actor, and he's one of my guys who's a dude.
Yeah.
So I will defend him whenever I can.
Listen.
But
I like Damo too. I think he's fantastic.
If there is a case to be made for him having a little bit more to work with in a scene, it's the scene in which he's at the tavern with Tom Hardy and he's explaining how the company, like how Tom Hardy's character has spent more in expenses than he has earned.
Okay,
like giving him that whole speech.
You don't know the same. Like this is how I read it.
Yes.
From there, he says that to Tom Hardy because he has now he has evidence if something were to occur that this is what it got accounted for. So that money I gave you, I didn't write it down for watching Q Glass. That's down there for nothing. So if I'm $300 out and I hand you $300, guess what I'm saying you did with that $300?
Yeah.
Right? So I think that was because I actually like that scene. It was a big time power play from him actually showing like, guess what, pal? Like, I paid you money.
Yeah.
We're good.
No, I like that scene a lot too. And I'm just saying, like, if you were to make that argument, I would say that is the scene to make that argument for.
Mine's more so of like early on when they're in the woods. Yeah. Like that's where I sit with him where I was just, I thought it was vanilla acting. And
I thought it was fine. I thought it embodied the like leadership role who's like secretly kind of scared shitless of like what's happening.
Yeah, but he never gave, like, I never felt like he was scared, but I also never felt like he could take control. That's my issue. Like, I felt like a little bit of like fear behind the eyes of like, oh God, I might not make it out of this, but I have to try to be brave for the men. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I never got that. That's what I'm saying. That's why I knock him. But like, so we talk about stealing scenes though. At the end of this thing, he's better than Leo.
His back and forth with Leo is absolutely great.
Yeah.
I think that they have really good chemistry that I would have loved more
passion,
of throughout the movie.
Yeah, like I got robbed. I told this guy, like I'm starting to stand up for myself.
When he's going through the safe and he's just going like, God damn it.
Yeah.
God damn it. Like,
yes.
You could just like hear the
they get on
absolute desperation.
I thought like when they got on the horses, I mean, it felt like he's the one running like a horse, right? Because that's what I was saying. Like he has it, and that you could be spot on with it. I don't know. I just at the beginning of this thing, so not gonna. First time seeing this thing, I wrote down off the whole time. Watching it this time, I was like, man, I really like this dude. Once I get to the fort, everything in the woods just screams like a guy that's kind of like, don't really know what to do, and I'm just gonna act like I don't know what to do. You know, hey, we're gonna go this way,
right?
So,
which to me works. Obviously, I think you can read a little bit different into it, but
apparently, he didn't want to show up the two other guys. I don't think he would have did THD.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. There's a lot we could talk about with this. Beautiful, gorgeous movie, all natural lighting.
On location.
They filmed in 3 different locations. So they were in, I think, Canada. I think they were also in part of the US for some of the filming. And then for the final kind of like act of the movie, or like the final scene rather, where you have that confrontation with Tom Hardy, they had to go to Argentina because it was too warm for them in Canada. So they had to delay production a little bit, fly over to Argentina, shoot over there with like all the vast amounts of snow, and then just get it going, I guess.
I've read someone they were waking up at like 4 or 5 a.m. for certain lighting like scenes, you know, so like when you could see the breath, you know, the perspiration, right? Coming out, and it's like that was actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. Can I have a little bit of a corner to talk about the documentary that I watched?
Oh, go ahead.
About it. So I don't know if you've seen the documentary about this movie called A World Unseen.
No.
I think it's called A World Unseen: The Revenant or something like that. It's a feature on the Blu-ray that I'd always wanted to watch, but I never got around to watching. It's like a 44-minute thing talking about sort of the production of the movie and like where they filmed it and like some of the conditions. At least you would think it was. I kind of want to rant a little bit because I watched this.
You're going to rant about a special feature on a Blu-ray?
Yes, because I wanted to learn more about the filming process, the sort of different conditions that they went through in order to get certain scenes made, the kind of time constraints that they had, the mindset of the actors that they had to be in order to get into their characters.
Quick question.
Yes.
Have you ever watched a feature on a Blu-ray special feature?
Yeah. I was hoping for something more along the lines of like episode 1, The Making of Phantom Menace. Why are you laughing?
Because, dude, that is a 1 of 1. That is a 1 of 1. That's
apparently. Well, is it too much to ask for movies to document the actual movie making process of the film that they're covering? Is that too much to ask?
I think you don't have that because of liability reasons, because these people
What liability?
Okay, I'm Leonardo, okay?
Congratulations. You've won an Oscar.
I wake up, I get a cup of coffee, it sucks, I throw it down, I say I'm not going out for filming for 4 hours. That's on the documentary. Guess what gets talked about on the documentary? Leo was a little tough to work with. Yeah. Guess who gets his reputation hurt?
I don't think.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone's going to think about it that way.
You've got that. And then I think, what was the other one that we watched? Was it the Heart of Darkness, the making of Island of Dr. Moreau?
There was that. And then there was, well, I don't know if we officially talked about the Heart of Darkness, but there was the Dr. Moreau one, of which the title I'm not remembering.
We watched that and pairing it with Island of Dr. Moreau, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm saying and that one was more soft. That was hour 15, and that was softer than what the episode 1 was.
But I guess, I don't know. I'm looking for more of even just that, of Island of Dr. Moreau, and I guess that's a different case because it's showcasing where the movie went wrong, and
Because I also don't know. They're supposed to be. Well, yeah, that's what I'm like. You just don't see it. When Sam told me about that episode 1 thing, and they're getting into budgets and finances, and anyways.
Even with that being said, though, I would have liked to have learned something about this movie behind the scenes, otherwise. That would have at least clued me into the process of making this movie, because it's very clear to me watching the documentary that Iñárritu is very proud of himself, very kind of full of, I've worked hard on this movie. And then for most of the runtime, they just talk about the locations they shot in and the people living there, and how, it's kind of a reflection of like days past when we were oppressed, and then we're oppressed in a different way now, and it's just it kind of faffs about.
Yeah.
It's not a good documentary, and listen, it's a behind the scenes feature, but it calls itself a documentary. If you're going to call yourself a documentary, I would hope you would be extensive about the things that you document for the sake of the film that I'm watching and wanting to learn more about. That's my ultimate issue with it.
I think you got hustled and you're upset about it.
I don't think I got hustled.
I think you're kind of like Tom Hardy right now.
I think you're gaslighting the shit out of me right now.
You did get hustled. You're talking about a documentary that wasn't a documentary, but labeled a documentary.
Okay,
like,
if I go into
you thought you were getting something else, right? And you didn't get it.
Because it's called An Unseen World, The Revenant. I'm assuming it's going to be about The Revenant at least a little bit.
A hustle works.
Apparently, I need to sue Inarritu. I don't know.
Tricked into this documentary.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong for thinking that that's what I should have gotten?
Okay.
Am I wrong for thinking that?
Let me hold on.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Well, you keep yelling at me. Here's the thing. What I'm saying. I'm not saying you're wrong. I have been burned by enough of those things. That's why I'm laughing at you, because they are a trick. Those special features. Sam will watch these things on YouTube with these special features. He will say, hey, here's this 15-minute clip. He goes, go to the 7-minute, 48-second mark. Watch for the next 30 seconds. De Niro's talking about Heat and watching the guy that did it. And then you watch it, and it's De Niro going, yeah, no, I caught up with them. Really special guy. Fantastic. I really enjoyed my time with him. You could see where he got his profession from. I mean, it's truly amazing watching these guys. And then they go into, and so, and it's like, okay, that's it. I got 30 seconds out of this 15-minute thing, because they're all blowharded up your ass. Like, we're just tagging on more content. That's why they don't even do the Blu-rays anymore. So you're not wrong, but also I'm laughing because I've been burned enough that I know what you're saying and how angry you are, but I've seen it before. That's why these things, I never watch them. I wait for someone else. Like,
we talk about false marketing a lot of the times and how a movie's mismarketed. This shit was mismarketed.
Hey, listen, I'll task you to a challenge that anytime that you can get something on Blu-ray with those special features, you go through and you find if they are even close to what you expected.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, because I
will do this with a smile on my face.
I lived in the time when you bought the $18 DVD instead of the $15 one, because they had those things and you would throw it on and it's just actors up there laughing about what they did on set. And you're like, oh, you didn't really tell me much of anything except that you enjoyed making the movie.
You get the special feature for Shaggy Dog, and they ask Robert Downey Jr., how many times did Tim Allen tickle your butthole? I mean, is he a prankster on set?
He's remarkable. I really just, Tim working with Tim was like the ultimate experience.
Working with Tim was a dream come true. I mean, I grew up watching Home Improvement and the Santa Claus.
Yeah, like You poured in 45 minutes thinking that you're going to get something, and I think you should have ripped the cord at about the 20-minute mark. And
I did think about just shutting it off. I did think about like, is this at some point going to give me something that I'm looking for? Like anything, like even the broadest sense of something about the movie, and it did not deliver on that.
Let me just say this from my just having watched a lot of movies and growing up with the times, we will never, ever, ever, ever see something like the making of episode 1. Unless someone decides that, hey, we are going to put this together while we're filming it. I heard there's supposed to be Coppola. What was the last Coppola movie? The
Megalopolis?
Yeah, some
Megadoc coming out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that is going to be kind of like the Island of Dr. Moreau. Like, they're not going to get into finances. They're going to show all the shit that went wrong. And like,
should we talk about Megadoc at a certain point?
Is that out?
I don't know if it's out.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I know that Megalopolis itself is kind of hard to find.
No, Megadoc. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, when that comes out, I'm totally on board to watch it because I want to see.
Sick.
Listen, I watching episode 1. I will take, if anyone has anything that's an hour long that's like that, you're in the same boat. Like, you just did it just now thinking that you're going to get it. They just don't exist is what I'm saying. I don't really think anyone puts the time and energy to go through all that stuff because, like, you run risk of showing either a process that works really well that maybe you have a competitive advantage on, or run risk of damaging someone's reputation.
Yeah.
And so when I say liability, it's more so about being liable.
I guess maybe the best comparison is the Fitzcarraldo documentary.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, is like a perfect comparison because it's a movie that is generally beloved, but also is like known for its arduous filmmaking process. But that also has to do with Werner Herzog being a kind of a freak about that stuff.
Yeah.
And how he himself is also an interesting figure.
They try to, those documentaries too, like when they do like so they have Apocalypse Now has one,
Hearts of Darkness,
the Fitzcarraldo, like they treat it like a storyline too. Like it's like, we're not going to show raw.
There's a narrative to this movie making.
The only one that didn't that I've seen is fucking like the Phantom Menace. Like that one was literally like, hey, we're just going to kind of put this together on how this got made.
I fucking wish movies did that more. I wish they did it more.
Listen to the episode. I'm pretty sure I said in there, like, I can't believe this got made, and I can't believe, like, this is why it's a one of one, because someone watched this and they just said, we can't give all this out, and we're not showing this.
It's a unicorn, man.
I'm telling
it's rare.
You. And that's why you will always be burned, especially you. Yeah. Anyways, c'est la vie.
C'est la vie. For fucking real. Shall we get into the ratings?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. I feel like there's a lot more we could talk about, but we are limited on time.
We are.
And I've got a segment that I want to get into.
Oh, jeez.
We don't have to. I feel like it would be pertinent for this episode.
5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we can speed it.
Okay.
You go first.
Yeah. So I haven't changed this rating. So this is a totally organic rating. This is exactly how I felt probably after multiple viewings on this thing. I know that like every time I talk about movies, I don't glowingly, I will always try to find something that's wrong with a film that I don't like or something that bugs me, but it doesn't necessarily mean it has to change my score or it has to change my thought on the movie. Like wabi sabi, right? The perfection of imperfection. So I don't think there is ever going to be a perfect movie. Like there will always be once, right? And I will find a movie that I could give 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, Congo, all right, and point out everything that is absolutely wrong with it and why it got made and still say, you know what, but it made me feel this way. So this movie, between the cinematography, score, performances, the overall sensations that you have at different points, it was refreshing to watch how it ended again because my memory was like, I know the last kind of shot or sequence, but I don't remember how we get there. And then just getting back to the fort and being back in it and be like, oh my God, like perfect ending, you know? Everything about this film, I mean, it's perfect. Like there isn't like one thing. The only thing that I would say is that there's a little bit too much of the meditative spiritual aspect, but like, that's just my own preference, and it's not a here nor there. It doesn't get, something that's like I can't deal without this, or deal with it. This is a 10 out of 10. Like this is a movie that I would tell anyone to watch, and I try to get my lovely wife to watch it, and I'm pretty sure she fell asleep. So we didn't even get to the bear scene. Like she couldn't handle the first 5 minutes.
Well, not a bad movie to fall asleep to. Kind of serene in a way.
The first 5, right? Like before the Indian, like that attack scene's fucking wild.
Yeah. And it's shown in multiple different instances, different angles.
Yeah, like it will like pan around and then it grabs onto another character who's got to make a decision about something. And if you get an arrow in your leg, you're fucked.
Yeah. Get an arrow anywhere.
Dude.
Your pinky.
I mean, if you got shot with an arrow right now, it'd suck, but they could rush you to ER, get you blood, cut it. Here you go. Here's rehab. Like all this. Like back then, you catch an arrow, you're like, oh, God. It's it. This is it. It's over.
Sorry, Baxter. You're not making it on the boat.
Yeah. Oh, it's awful.
Yeah.
It's just wild. Anyways, 10 out of
10. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. I feel like it bears no explanation for my rating for this movie. I feel like I've said pretty much all I need to say about my appreciation for this as a film. You've touched on a lot of it already, and I just think that the magnificent simplicity of this film is what I enjoy about it quite a bit. So I don't know, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Anything that's 10 out of 10 is so you could go on for hours, or you could say, 10 out of 10.
I'm just putting it very punctually.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. Well, speaking of Leonardo DiCaprio,
Okay.
we have a segment that we can get through pretty quickly.
Okay.
It's called Question for the Audience.
Okay.
So I posed a question to our audience, and I asked them, what is your favorite Leonardo DiCaprio performance/movie? And then I would hope that some people have explained their choice in movie/performance. Some of them did, some of them didn't, but that's okay.
Okay.
So we'll just get into it. Savannah says Shutter Island.
Nice.
Shutter Island, best performance. I've seen it once. I enjoy that movie. I would rewatch it. One of the lesser talked about Scorsese Leo movies, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It doesn't have the makings of a Scorsese film.
No, I don't really think of it as one, which is weird because he's such a prolific filmmaker.
Yeah.
Levi, past future guest Levi, says, maybe Inception or Blood Diamond.
Blood Diamond's not bad.
Blood Diamond is one of the ones that I feel like is one of his more different performances. I mean, he's doing a South African accent, and he's also just kind of aggro throughout the whole movie.
Very seedy.
Yeah.
Right?
There's like a filthiness to his character that.
Well, he's part of the underground, and he moves diamonds, and
yeah.
You think you're doing a good thing? Well, guess what? I'm telling you what's going on right now.
Right.
Right?
Like, you're a little nefarious
I've
there,
seen
my
too
guy.
much of life to understand that doing the right thing is the right thing to do.
Yeah. Gideon says, maybe it's too simple, but as much as I enjoy Revenant and Django, he really kills it in Inception.
I agree with Gideon 1,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Inception, great movie, great performance. I love him in Django. I just got to throw that out there. I think his performance in Django is maybe one of my favorite of his because he's playing a villain, which he doesn't often do. And he is so in the thick of being kind of like goofy mustache twirling villain and loving every second of it.
Yeah.
That it works with the tapestry of what Tarantino's going for.
Yes.
Wolf says Gilbert Grape. I haven't seen Gilbert
I haven't
Grape.
either. I was about to say there's
really? Okay.
Basketball Diaries, What's Eating Gilbert Grape. There's another one where he's a young actor. Yeah,
He's a little fresh-faced boy.
I think at 97, 99, 97 Titanic, 98. That's when Leo got onto the radar.
I think 97, yeah.
Yeah, and then that he was turning teenage Leo, so like he had more of maybe questionable decisions. I don't know.
Chris, you'll like this answer, says, maybe not my favorite performance, but I love the flamethrower scene in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
It's funny that you say that because you said Tarantino, and I was like, Tarantino, what am I thinking? And so it went to him with that flamethrower in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So I was thinking of Inglourious Bastards when you were talking about. Anyways,
his performance as Rick Dalton in Once Upon a Time, I think, is pretty totemic.
I had to have damn 8 whiskey sours. Couldn't stop at 2.
Piper got scared from that. That was such a realistic portrayal.
I will fucking put a bullet in your brain if you don't stop drinking.
It's great movie, great performance. Him as Rick Dalton, I think, works super fucking well. It would be up there for me as far as like my favorite of his.
Dude, he goes, we don't want to ruin Once Upon a Time if you haven't seen it. God damn, that movie's so good.
Recommend it. We'll talk about it one day.
I got the next one lined up.
Gotcha.
Doing it as a service for my brother who's hanging on.
Our last one comes from a good friend of the pod, Jay Hall.
Oh, what's Jay Hall got? Tell me the beach.
He's got a pretty lengthy answer, but I'll get through it. To throw out a couple not mentioned yet, I love him in The Departed, but Catch Me If You Can is a classic. He has a way of getting you to root for the bad guy. I mean, he's a criminal, and I really want him to get away with it. Damn you and your relentless pursuit, Tom Hanks.
Hell yeah.
Catch Me If You Can.
Wordsmith. Yeah.
I think that one is one that I don't always think about, but when I do, it's like, yeah, he totally works in that movie.
It's a very Spielberg, like, warm, you know, like he's like you're rooting for him, you know, he's a criminal, but they never have like he's dastardly or he's a problem.
Let me ask you this, because I feel like Leonardo DiCaprio has a very specific type of character he usually likes playing, which is like guy who's sort of out there yelling, like no chill to them whatsoever. What do you think is his most chill performance?
Chill?
Yeah.
We just talked about it.
Like laid back. You think it's one battle after another?
What? No. The Revenant.
You think The Revenant is a chill performance?
Yeah, he's in the winter the whole time. Go off. All right, here. Compare Wolf of Wall Street to The Revenant. And
Wolf
tell
of
me
Wall
what's
Street, he's not
more chill.
I mean, The Revenant, he's more chill, but like, there's a scene where he's pretty not chill.
Yeah, but
and I don't know if we're still in spoiler territory, but something happens to one of the people he cares about, and he goes pretty aggro. And then the end scene with the villain, he's also very.
He does
aggro.
that in like every. I don't know. Here, hold on.
Like that's the question I'm posing is like, is there a movie in which he's not like yelling or upset or screaming or just frantic about anything?
Inception.
Yeah, but like even the end of Inception, he's kind of losing it a little bit, isn't he? I mean, It's been a while since I've seen Inception.
No,
Inception's the role in which he's in the most control.
Let's think about it this way: it's a Christopher Nolan film. So, how much emotionality do you think is emitted in that movie?
I think Inception is stealthily one of his more emotionally driven movies, but I need to rewatch it. It's been so long since I've seen it.
Yeah, to be cool.
There's more to the movie than I think.
Titanic.
Initially, you would think.
Like, so here's the thing. Like, you have to oh my god,
Titanic. He's pretty chill. Most of the time, he's kind of just hanging out on the boat.
That's what I'm saying. But like,
and then things go tits up.
Like you
quite
have
literally.
You have to. There's a certain point where he kind of starts flipping that script. I'm trying to like. Actors, there we go. Sam, producer Jay Egger. Literally, it's him yelling in the poster.
Yeah, you can't say that one.
Catch Me If You Can.
Probably, yeah.
I haven't seen Body of Lies or Revolutionary Road. No, he gets hammered.
It's probably Catch Me If You Can, right? Because other than Inception, he's the most control in that movie.
Inception, yeah. I'm saying it's Inception. Like,
you're saying Inception?
Yeah.
Dang, he's 50 years old.
Yeah.
That's
been in
crazy.
a lot of great movies.
Yeah. Dude, there's a reason why his name still carries weight.
So I think he plays Howard Hughes in The Aviator, and I think he has a couple...
He's absolutely not chill in that movie.
Yeah.
There's no way. That's like maybe the least chill.
No, that's not what... No.
Yeah.
But yes, yeah. He has a certain... Least chill is Django.
You think Django's least chill?
Yes.
Probably. He is very extra in that movie. Yeah.
You just said he's villain twirling, mustache leaning into it.
Yeah, but there's a point when he's introduced where he's like trying to be kind of like debonair and put on like a front. But yeah, it quickly does descend into like him smashing the table and screaming at the people there.
Cut his hand with a fucking skeleton, a prop, and played through it. Like,
yeah. That's
Yeah.
Maybe Wolf of Wall Street would be close up there too, because like, it's not like he's angry in that movie, but he's just wired the whole
That's
time.
what I'm saying. Like, it depends on, like, for me, Unchilled is where he gets into his like volume, going into red from green.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Wolf of Wall Street, I think it just hovers in the yellow a little bit, but it is definitely like that, going up and down rapidly.
Mm-hmm.
No, I would say probably Catch Me If You Can or Inception would be the two, and then Titanic. But like,
I think my answer would be Catch Me If You Can.
I haven't seen The Beach.
Me neither.
But
hard to imagine that being chill, even though he's on a beach. It's supposed to be relaxing, but
right?
I'm sure some stuff goes down on it.
So there you have it.
Megan just sent me a text because she's been listening to this conversation. He's chill-ish in What's Eating Gilbert Grape. He plays a mentally disabled boy, so that can get a little chill.
I think in Basketball Diaries, he's on heroin. So, I mean, that could be really chill.
Megan also said maybe Romeo and Juliet. I feel like...
No, they're not.
That's not... There's no... That's like almost
Dude,
opposite
Hamlet
of chill.
screaming on the carnival ride or whatever. Like, you know when they're on the beach?
Well, it's Romeo. Hamlet's a different thing.
No, I know. No. Not who's his buddy?
Mercutio?
Mercutio, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie, yeah. They are all, that is...
Romeo and Juliet with guns, in my opinion, not very chill.
Modern times, yeah. Going down, like... And Yeah. Who directed that movie?
Baz Luhrmann.
Yeah.
Elvis, baby.
Took a very unique route. Actually, but not a bad movie.
I would like to talk about that movie, I think, on this podcast. I think we should I think it's worth discussing because I watched that movie in an English class.
Same here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'd be worth talking about.
Yeah, revisit maybe. We'll see.
We'll see. Speaking of seeing, we're going to see a movie and then talk about it in the next episode because you got to make a recommendation.
Bada boom, bada bing. Yes.
And I'm remember to remind you, Sam.
Yeah, no, it didn't stray.
Okay.
So Sam, out of the blue texted me about this movie. He put on. His daughter came in and kind of, he had to do his fatherly duty, so he wasn't able to watch the rest of it, at least from what we talked about. But he said, "Dude, you should talk about it on the pod. We have Halloween coming up.
Ooh, yes,
a movie that I've always kind of just went like, to." But he said first 15 minutes, hook, line, and sink. A lot of big time actors in it. I said, okay, I'll think about it. But with Halloween coming up, definitely the lane to do it in. So we're gonna watch. I don't know if it's called Bram Stoker's Dracula or if it's just Dracula.
Oh, okay. I think it's Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Bram Stoker's Dracula
by Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah, Gary Oldman, Anthony Hopkins. Is Keanu in it?
Keanu's in it.
Yep.
I've heard some things about his performance in that movie, but
yeah, so Sam hit me with it, and I was like, all right, dude. And I was like, I'm never recommending that. And then I always struggle with these recommendations. I have not seen
1992.
Yeah,
128 minutes. Okay, solid 2 hours.
Yeah.
I like the cover.
Yeah, is it there's another one where it's like Oldman, where it's like flower moon. It
kind of looks a little more romantic comedy-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, 1,000%. That's the one. That one looks good.
You think there's going to be a little more goofs than I think the movie would lead you to believe?
I don't know. Sam said 15 minutes in, he was hook, line, and sink, wanted to watch it, and that could always be from a peak curiosity of how the hell did this get made. It could also be a peaked curiosity of Coppola, big time actors, a lot of money invested onto the set.
Yeah.
So
that's exciting. I haven't seen this, but I'm excited to talk about it for spooky season. Ooh. The Spooky Crew podcast.
Oh.
The Neon Spook podcast. Ooh.
Yeah, I was trying to do, I don't have a good pun.
That's okay. I think we kind of used them all up.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll give you some leeway. Cool. So we'll figure out a movie to pair this up with that's coming out. Yep. Or unless, there's something else you want to talk about, whatever.
Spooky.
We're pretty loosey-goosey here.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
We'll
post it. We'll let you know. And then you watch it. And then you can listen to us talk about it.
Yeah. And then you love us. And then you send us gifts.
Yes.
Because we're still waiting.
Yes.
Trick or treats coming upon us. Send us some treats. Come on. What are you doing?
Or just give us the bag of candy that we can hand out.
Yeah. You know where we are.
Yeah.
Find us. Come to our door and give us treats. Cool. So if you guys don't want to be spoiled for Bram Stoker's
yes,
Dracula. I always want to say Strokers.
I said Stroker.
You did say Stroker.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't think Gary Oldman's stroking it in this movie. I think he's stoking it. He might be
Sean
stroking
Penn
it
in this thing.
There's a good chance that he might be stroking it if he's in this film. I don't think he is, but he might pop up in more ways than one. Yep. That's a reference to a scene in One Battle After Another.
Yes.
Be sure to check out Bram Stoker's Dracula, directed by Francis Ford Coppola, before episode 106. McLean, what do we say to end this episode before our next spooky endeavor?
WWTHD.
Bye, everyone. The Neon Crew podcast is hosted by Kyle Yates and McLean Parker. Kyle, who is myself, also helps to produce, edit, and upload every episode. Our music was composed by Gideon Hunter. Our artwork was created by Lauren Hunter. Thank you so much for listening to our show. Episodes get scheduled to release every 2 weeks. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Follow us on various social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and our YouTube community page for updates and information on upcoming episodes. Want to join the Neon Mafia? Head over to our shop page at etsy.com/shop/the Neon Crew podcast for some quality, comfortable merch.